When contractors count on, all under one roof. Located on 6 sprawling acres in the heart of Chicago, O'Leary's boasts a massive showroom and full-service shop, better equipped than any competitor in the city. All backed by an experienced team who are committed to meeting your needs, plus a modern delivery fleet driven by pros. With O'Leary's, you'll get the gear you need, on time, in perfect condition, and with service that actually knows your name. Visit O'Leary'sEquipment.com. Call 773-252-6600 or stop by just off 290, exit 24AB on Cicero Avenue. O'Leary's, where experience meets equipment and equipment meets satisfied customers.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
The Charlie Kirk Podcast is on the Salem Podcast Network.
The media far too often has become the enemy of the people. The media told those of us that noticed Joe Biden's mental decline for years that you are wrong, that you are spreading mis and disinformation. They knew how bad this was. And these reporters actively covered up one of the greatest scandals in American history.
Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Experience a luxurious summer when you visit Trump International Hotel and Towers, Chicago, a Forbes Travel Guide 5-star hotel. Take in stunning views of the Chicago skyline from the heart of the city, steps away from the iconic Magnificent Mile and the revitalized Riverwalk. Treat yourself to exquisite dining at Terra 16 Restaurant and Rebar Lounge, overlooking the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. Catch the Navy Pier fireworks display from Terra 16's patio on Wednesdays and Saturdays all summer long. Relax in immaculately designed suites that offer the utmost level of comfort. Refresh in the state-of-the-art spa featuring a 75-foot swimming pool, steam and sauna rooms, relaxation lounge, and more. The Trump Hotel Chicago offers sophistication and elegance to downtown Chicago and is a convenient travel destination for your summer getaway. Simply visit Trump Chicago online to make your reservations today and search offers to find the never settle summer stay. Book today.
Mike Gallagher explains what drives his show.
Now, am I oversimplifying this? Let's figure it out together. This is a caller-driven show. If you're new to what we do, I like you as our talking heads. I don't really like authors and guests, and I like Americans. That's what this show is about. Americans talking with Americans and trying to figure it all out together. I want to help.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Charlie Kirk at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's July 3rd, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Fried Clams Day. Generally associated with New England cuisine, fried clams can be found anywhere from seaside shacks to waterfront and roadside restaurants. The first fried clams were introduced in the Massachusetts town of Essex in 1916 when Lawrence Henry Chubby Woodman and his wife Bessie fried up the first batch of clams. More than 100 years later, the family restaurant in Essex continues to serve that delicious treat. Also on this date in 1930, President Herbert Hoover signed a bill which created the Veterans Administration. Hoover would then go on to name Brigadier General Frank T. Hines as the VA's first administrator. In 1966, Tony Cloninger of the Atlanta Braves became the first National League player and first pitcher to hit 2 grand slams in a game as the Braves took on the San Francisco Giants. Cloninger would finish the day with 3 hits, driving in 9 runs as the Braves beat the Giants 17-3. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Business owners, now's the time for your business to make the move to a locally owned business bank. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that you don't have to look far. Signature Bank was founded in Chicago with a simple mission to help companies like yours grow, succeed, and thrive. Their decisions are made locally by a terrific team that knows your name, cares about your business, and invests in your success. That's why Signature Bank is my bank. I'm a customer. As business owners, they knew that local family-owned businesses were not getting the help they needed or deserved. So I invite you to reach out to my friends at Signature Bank today. Write the number down. Remember this phone number, Signature Bank, 773-467-5630, and learn all about this great bank, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Charlie, is there something better we can do with all these pallets, OCC, and shrink wrap? It just keeps building up.
Well, we have a trash company that's supposed to haul it away. I guess they're not keeping up.
Well, maybe we should shop around. All this paper, plastic, metal, this can all be recycled. We spend way too many hours just moving it around.
Actually, my buddy's company uses Combined Resources in Addison. They pick up recyclables all over Chicago and safely dispose of it. They have this huge recycling center. Apparently, it saves them a lot in waste expenses, too.
Well, let's give Combined Resources a call.
Since 1986, Combined Resources, Inc. has been your one-stop shop recycling and sustainability partner. CRI's programs reduce labor and hauling costs, boost rebate returns, and help your company go green. If your company has paper, cardboard, plastic, pallets, and metal that you want cleared and recycled, CRI will take care of it all and help you meet sustainability goals. Call 877-CRI-PLAS and learn how CRI supports smarter recycling at combinedresources.us. Combined Resources, Inc., turning waste into worth, one resource at a time.
Did you know that AM 560 Radio has a full-service digital marketing division called Salem Surround? If you're a business decision maker, listen up. AM 560 listeners are everywhere your potential audience is. So are our incredible targeting capabilities. We localize digital marketing and put it within reach of every business, small and large, in Chicagoland and beyond. Salem Surround offers AI-powered marketing solutions that reach your ideal audience. Whether or not you tap into the proven live, local, and emotional connection that AM 560 Radio brings, Salem Surround offers a total marketing solution to our partners. All-in-one digital solutions that provide targeted local digital and social media ads, Google AdWords management, website services, video strategy, search optimization, and even a management dashboard to offer you total campaign updates and transparency. Your Salem Surround representative is located right here in Chicago. Experience the Salem Surround digital revolution today. Call 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, now your official weather forecast.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Thunderstorms may bring strong wind gusts in certain spots. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm in spots early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Dan is back Monday. We got the big, beautiful bill. You might like it, you might not. I don't know. You're going to tell me. We got the big, beautiful bill, though. This is something that could never be done. This is something only that Donald Trump could be done. This is so freaking ridiculous. And I don't want to be a leg humper. I'm not a leg humper. But if you just sit back and you look at what the heck happened and what it took to get what was going to happen, none of us, whether you love Trump, hate him, or are indifferent, no one thought that this thing was going to pass by July 4th. It was like written in print, in stone, in many publications, including ones that you and I read, that there was very little chance, pretty much no way in heck, that there was going to be a big, beautiful bill in time for July 4th. And I worked on through the night, as the Def Leppard first album said. I worked on through the night. And when I went to bed at, I think, some ungodly hour of like 1, I was watching this thing, and they're still freaking going. So I wake up and get ready. I quaffed myself for the show. Hope you know what the word means, otherwise it sounds bad. I was quaffing myself, and I was listening to Fox, and I hear them say that, now it's not officially passed, but they got the votes, they whipped it, and it's passed as in, it's just a procedure now. It's done. And so somehow, and we'll learn more, we're going to talk to economist Stephen Moore, former and I think current economic advisor to President Trump, among many other things. At 7:37, we'll see what he knows, being in the sphere of the Trump folks. But there was 5 people that were saying no. They needed no more than 3. Excuse me, they needed at least 3 of them. I don't know. They could take the margin of 3 to say no. That's what it was. And you know what it is. Look, it's raw, sheer bribery. What I could imagine Trump saying, instead of being a jerk, knowing how close he was. Here's what I thought, too, when I saw this. I saw 5 people left, holdouts, and you only need 2. Who are the 2 that we can get? If I'm Trump, I'm getting on the phone, and instead of me threatening them because it's too late, now it's like, dude, we got 2 people. Pick them off. Pressure them, but not in a bad way, but ask them, what do you need? What can I do for you that will get you to say yes to this? And it appears, based on what the best dude in the business is, Chad Pergram from Fox News, it appears, and I guess this is Captain Obvious, that whether it's been put, they could not change anything in the bill. This is the Senate bill. There is no difference, and I'm going to go over stuff in it as far as what we're going to get that's good, and I will absolutely share the warts, because there's a lot of them. But there's also a lot of good stuff that's insane. Look at what Trump did. Last week, everybody was saying, I think it was last week, that he had a gangbusters week with so many different things. Supreme Court decision. Oh, what else, guys? I can't count them all. But last week was a big one. The other ones will come to me. But so he had a gangbusters week last week. He now has the most incredibly gangbusters week this week. You know why? Because he was over at Alligator Alcatraz, which we'll get into that later. They're calling it a concentration camp now, but they're also, you're not going to believe this. There's a lady who wrote a book about Auschwitz, and she's like, the whole thing's about concentration camp, and she literally saying, yes, this is a concentration camp, but no, it's not Auschwitz. These people are freaking nuts. But they're gonna really, pardon the expression, crap a brick, because Fox News' Bill Melugin. And by the way, I want to put the lines open right now for you to chime in. I want to know how you feel. And by the way, producers Quinn and Paul, my call screening thing is down still. I got to work on that. But so if you guys can just let me know when they're calling in, when we're ready to take folk. But 312-642-5600 is our number. 312-642-5600. The main thing here is this. I want to know how you feel about this. It's totally okay if you're mad about it, you're against it, and why. It's fine. Or if you're happy and why. So I want you to think of the confluence of events. Number 1, Trump announces that tomorrow, or at least he releases the fact that tomorrow he's going to be in Iowa for 4th of July. Because Iowa, as you heard in the news, Iowa voted for him twice. He is now, this guy is so ahead of it, deep planning, 2 steps ahead, because now he's going to go there and be regaled by the great people of Iowa who love President Trump, who always voted for him in every term, whether the first one, the second one that he did not win, whether you agree with that or not is not relevant now, and then this one. So he's going there to be regaled and enjoy the glory, but celebrate Americana. He gets it. Such a salesman. That's going to be incredible to watch. And unlike Chicago, where there's no fireworks, which we'll get to that later. But, so he gets Alligator Alcatraz up. The illegals, by the way, hundreds of illegals reportedly were flown in and are already at. This guy puts a prison together in 8 days with an airstrip. He deputizes all these guardsmen who can then adjudicate the case, give them their hearing, and then throw them out, most of them within a couple days, 2-3 days, they're being heard. And then they're going to be deported, and the planes are going to take off right from the Alligator Alcatraz. I got to retweet what a friend of mine retweeted, sent to me yesterday, because there's the most hysterical AI of Trump at Alligator Alcatraz. But so here's what we get. All the good stuff. And I wanted to wrap up the week, how great it was. So Alligator Alcatraz. And there was a Supreme Court decision last week, but this week he gets the big, beautiful bill passed, which was thought to not even be possible, let alone by July 4th. And then tomorrow he goes to Iowa and celebrates. I'm not going to even try to say it. It was a semi-sesquicentennial or some weird, long definition of what the exact, how you exactly call which one this was, which one this is for our 4th of July celebration of our independence. But here's some of the quick things I want to hit on how amazing this is. I'll share the good, and I'll share the bad as we talk. If it passes, $45 billion will go to more than double ICE detention capacity, roughly 100,000 beds. By the way, the Alligator Alcatraz is 3,000 beds. It is the largest facility to hold illegals in the entire country. Trump built it in 8 days. This now will make 100,000 beds. What does this mean? Mass deportations. But guess what else? $45 billion to more than double ICE detention capacity. I mentioned that one. $14 billion for transportation and removal of illegals. $8 billion to hire 10,000 additional ICE personnel. Do you understand this? 10,000. More than doubling the 5,000 deportation officers. Boom. $1.3 billion for ICE OPLA. That's attorneys and support staff. $787 million for state local participation in ICE DHS efforts. That's big. $700 million for technology enhancements. $650 for 287G local ICE cooperation. That's all the training in all the jails, saying you can use the ICE software when they check you into the jail to see if you're an illegal. That's big. That way you can put a detainer on them. $600 million for recruitment and hiring and onboarding of ICE folk. $200 million for fleet modernization, and $20 million to detain illegals with their children, if they so choose. ICE Director Todd Lyons says game changer for the agency. Guess what else Trump keeps his promises on? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. People laughed at that. We all said, "Oh, yeah, that was that." Most of us, "Oh, that's great," but there's no way. Well, everything that the quote unquote experts said. Look what this man did. This man is freaking. I know he's not literally doing this, but he's freaking walking on water as a politician, if you will. Let's go to Craig in Mount Greenwood. Craig, you are on AM 560. The Answer. Chris in for Danny's back Monday. Hello. Hi, Craig. Are you guys able? You got him?
Hello.
Okay, there you go. I got you, Craig. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, I got a way that I look at this that I think you'll appreciate, and a lot of listeners will really makes you happy about this whole thing of how Trump will do something, and then all the Trump haters and people, they're always against him, and they never learn how he always comes out on top. And with regard to this big bill, it's all a matter of math. You go through, if a person would go through this thing, they'll probably find, oh, yeah, there's negative things or things we don't like. Normally, these bills that these politicians come up with, everything's crap in there, and we don't get any benefits out of it. You better believe Trump's got so many benefits, so many things that are good. When you do the math, it's like, Holy cow. Bottom line is we're going to make out like bandits. And when I say we, little people. Trump is always looking at the little people. And no, there'll be things that he can't undo. I mean,
let me tell you something about that real fast. First of all, the tax cuts, which do tremendous for folks that are the little folks that you talk about, people making below 50,000, people making between 50,000 and 150,000 or 100,000, somewhere in that nature, and then basically all income brackets, and yes, even people that are wealthy, so that they can reinvest their money into their companies, which will grow their companies and grow this economy and hire more Americans. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and another thing is it kills the illegals on Medicaid. It stops people who are bums and won't work. We'll get to that in a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you're hitting all these points as well. And the thing is, my encouragement is realizing that guy really is it's just like if you're playing chess and he's playing or checkers and he's playing the 3D chess. Some people have said, and it's true because he's got things figured out and it's in there where he's going to come out on top. And when he comes out on top, it's a matter of him putting down these leftists and bringing up patriots and conservatives and Christians, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
it's just an encouraging thing that basically as this thing unfolds and opens up and he gets to do things that he wants to do in there, and that it's going to be able to be used for great benefit to us. And
I got to roll, but thank you, Craig. Great call. Guess what else is huge? I read last night in the Wall Street Journal. They want to get this passed by July 4th. Do you know why? Because last time when Trump passed the Trump tax cuts, it was later in the year, and that meant when the midterms came up, the effects of the tax cuts had not kicked in, and it hurt us at the polls for the midterms. This dateline that he got it under by, this date by July 4th, what this means, I appreciate your call. Thank you, Craig. What this means is, have a nice day. What this means is these tax cuts will take effect, and the effect of them will hit home, and it will work so that when we call next year, when the midterms come around, it'll take effect. We will feel the effects, and it will help us at the polls to perhaps keep the House and perhaps keep the Senate. Now, I got Rich in Indian Head Park. I got George in Naperville. I got Janice in Morocco, Illinois. So many more people. I want to hear from you. How do you feel about this big, beautiful bill being passed? How much of a victory do you think it is? There's a lot of stuff I don't like, but there's a ton I like. This is massive. This is bigger than just getting a big bill. This is massive. This is a smash success that nobody thought. Not one Democrat voted for it. Not one Democrat said, and I'm not for Dreamers, but nonetheless, now one Democrat said, hey, I'll vote for it. Can you get my Dreamers Act in there? He tried to do the Dreamers thing with Nancy Pelosi, but because it was him, she wouldn't do it. Remember that in his first term? No one came and said, what can I do if I vote for you? What can you do for me? They didn't want to negotiate. They wanted to destroy him. He won anyways. Your call coming up next, 312-642-5600. This is
the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you want the best in construction and industrial equipment, look no further than Chicago's most trusted name for 76 years, O'Leary's. From Bobcat to Bosch, Milwaukee to Steel, O'Leary's carries all the top brands and a huge inventory. From skid loaders and excavators, power tools, generators to welders, O'Leary's has the equipment contractors count on, all under one roof. Located on 6 sprawling acres in the heart of Chicago, O'Leary's boasts a massive showroom and full-service shop, better equipped than any competitor in the city. All backed by an experienced team who are committed to meeting your needs. Plus, a modern delivery fleet driven by pros. With O'Leary's, you'll get the gear you need, on time, in perfect condition, and with service that actually knows your name. Visit O'Leary'sEquipment.com. Call 773-252-6600 or stop by just off 290, exit 24AB on Cicero Avenue. O'Leary's, where experience meets equipment and equipment meets satisfied customers.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
Hey guys, it's not enough to manipulate your testosterone by getting those shots. Did you ever stop to ask, why is my testosterone level so low anyway? Well, if you're a Y guy like me, I've got something for you to think about. Hormone levels get skewed not with age. Hormones get skewed by poor lifestyle habits. Our male hormone test can help us find the why behind your male hormone challenges. So give us a call and get your male hormone test today. Pumping hormones into your bloodstream is not the answer, not without the many health risks associated. Stop tampering with your hormones, because if you don't, you'll probably live long enough to regret it. So from one Y guy to another Y guy, let's get her done the right way, the only way, taking more natural steps towards healthy hormone balance and performance today. It's our male hormone test. No blood, just spit. Call 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Experience a luxurious summer when you visit Trump International Hotel and Towers, Chicago, a Forbes Travel Guide 5-star hotel. Take in stunning views of the Chicago skyline from the heart of the city, steps away from the iconic Magnificent Mile and the revitalized Riverwalk. Treat yourself to exquisite dining at Terra 16 Restaurant and Rebar Lounge, overlooking the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. Catch the Navy Pier fireworks display from Terra 16's patio on Wednesdays and Saturdays all summer long. Relax in immaculately designed suites that offer the utmost level of comfort. Refresh in the state-of-the-art spa featuring a 75-foot swimming pool, steam and sauna rooms, relaxation lounge, and more. The Trump Hotel Chicago offers sophistication and elegance to downtown Chicago and is a convenient travel destination for your summer getaway. Simply visit Trump Chicago online to make your reservations today and search offers to find the never settle summer stay. Book today.
AM 560, The Answer.
What does googly-eyed AOC say when she was attacking the bill overnight at the House? I'll tell you about that. But lots of calls, lots of lines open. How do you feel about the big, beautiful bill passing? Not officially, but it's passing. It has they whipped the votes. Trump did in time for the 4th of July celebrations in Iowa tomorrow. This is insane. On AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. It's 72 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President Trump says the U.S. has struck a trade deal with Vietnam.
According to the president, the deal includes a 20% tariff on the Southeast Asian country's imports to the U.S. and will give the U.S. tariff-free access to Vietnam's markets. Vietnam has also agreed that goods would be hit with a 40% tariff rate if they originated in another country and were transferred to Vietnam for final shipment to the United States. The agreement was unveiled less than a week before a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs is set to expire. I'm Mark Mayfield.
The Pentagon says U.S. strikes have knocked Iran's nuclear program back closer to years.
Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell gave the assessment, one that's more optimistic than what UN inspectors have said.
We believe, and certainly all of the intelligence that we've seen, have led us to believe that those facilities especially have been completely obliterated.
Last weekend, the International Atomic Energy Agency said Iran could be enriching uranium in a matter of months. The U.S. military has said 3 key nuclear sites were significantly damaged by more than a dozen bunker-busting bombs and Tomahawk missiles. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster started in 2010 in Kyle Cox's garage after he overpaid for new blinds. He researched the industry, hired his mom, and 14 years later, they're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now I'll check your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Hugh Hewitt sees the president standing strong.
Look, they should have made the deal. I had a great deal for them. They should have made that deal. 60 days we talked about it, and in the end they decided not to do it, and now they wish they did it. And they want to meet, but it's a little late to meet, but they want to meet.
He's a developer. He's not going to offer them the same term sheet.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer. The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
That shot was money, Lisa. Hey, speaking of, did you ever figure out what to do with your parents' old coin collection?
Not yet. I need a reputable dealer to appraise them. I have no clue what they're worth.
I just finished working on my dad's estate collections. I took it all to Fox Valley Coins. Their customer service was the best. Plus, they're super honest and reputable, but most importantly, experienced. They'll give you the best prices.
Really? They handle estate collections?
Absolutely. Buying, selling, appraising, they do it all. It was quick and simple, and we maintained our privacy. Fox Valley Coins made the whole process easy.
That's exactly what I need. Are they local?
Right in Naperville. They have an easy website to remember. FoxValleyCoins.com.
Perfect. Now let's see if you can return this shot.
Whether buying or selling or just want valuation, Fox Valley Coins is your trusted gold and silver dealer. Visit Fox Valley Coins, 1 light north of I-88 on Route 59 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. FoxValleyCoins.com. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. Find Active Liver at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Be aware that these storms could bring strong wind gusts. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm possible early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
On this point of tax on tips, as one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that tax, a little bit of the fine print.
She's acting so. I tweeted this out last night at 1 o'clock in the morning as they were, speaking on the quote big beautiful bill, and here she's this is where she acts like, I am mad. This is a big deal. It is really going to hurt poor people. Mad. And then all the Democrats are going, yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Here's the rest of it.
There. The cap on that is $25,000. While you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States.
Okay, two things. She says the tax on tips only gives no tax for the first $25,000. Well, dude, I mean, how much do you want no taxes on? $25,000 worth of tips is a lot more than zero. Then she lies and says that the taxes don't go down, they go up for people under 50K, which is a flat-out lie. Here we go.
While taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their health care extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math. Is that worth it to you?
Yes! 25 grand not getting tipped? Yes! Sign me up!
Losing all your health care, not able to feed your babies, not being able to put a diaper on their bottom.
Now that's funny. No health care? Correct. If you are a bum, you are not getting tips. I mentioned through the Wall Street Journal analysis, 4.8 million people that are going to lose Medicaid are bums who are able-bodied, don't have a dependent to take care of at the house, and don't want to work or they even can just volunteer 20 hours a week. They don't want it. AOC wants you and me to pay for bums insurance coverage. Continuing on.
In exchange for what? This bill is a deal with the devil. It explodes our national debt. It militarizes our entire economy, and it strips away health care and basic dignity of the American people.
She's like, and basic Disney dignity of the
people for what? To give Elon Musk a tax break and billionaires the greedy taking of our nation. We cannot stand for it, and we will not support it. You should be ashamed.
You should be ashamed. She's not angry. She's not passionate. She's acting. She's got some harps in the back there. Okay, how do you feel? The big, beautiful bill will pass. The votes were whipped. DJT undoubtedly was working the phones at midnight to 1, I heard. He was calling, well, our time, which is 1 to 2, their time. And he goes tomorrow to Iowa to celebrate the 4th of July with this massive freaking victory, with hundreds of illegals showing up at Alligator Alcatraz last night. It is insane. It's like a book being written, a dream. Let's go to George in Naperville. George, you're on AM 560. The Answer. Chris filling in. Dan's back Monday. Hello.
Good morning, Chris. On the lighter side, you touched on that Alligator Alcatraz. With the inmates out there, instead of making license plates with all that alligator stuff product, how about making purses and shoes? He could have a whole fashion line going out there.
I think that's great. I think that is absolutely fantastic. I appreciate your call, George. Janice in Morocco, Illinois. Hello, Janice.
When the lady who was charged with body slamming the ICE agents in New Jersey appears before the judge, maybe he will sentence her to do community service on Alligator Alcatraz as a security guard.
Yes! What do you want her to do? Clean the toilets? Scrub the toilets? Clean the floors? Unlike Joe Biden's Alcatraz, this one has a nice concrete floor. Joe Biden's, which is a picture from Bill Melugin I retweeted on my Twitter feed, and follow me at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKR, okay? Joe Biden's had no walls on the side, no air conditioning, and rocks. They were sitting or standing on rocks. Trump gives them seriously, too, by the way, it's a beautiful-looking floor. I'm not kidding you. It's like they have that stamped concrete that you can get, and it's got air conditioning. So, I mean, it is worlds better, and yet they're calling this one a concentration camp. That's one heck of a concentration camp. If it is, then what was Joe Biden's? Janice, I appreciate your great call. It's a great idea. Take the alligators and make some money for the United States and sell that in the purses, wallets, rich, etc. All right, let's see here. Now we're going to go to Marvin. Marvin, you are on AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for the country. It has to be because the Democrats hate it so much. My question was, there was an education.
I was taking a sip of coffee. I almost spit it. You made me laugh so hard. Go ahead.
There was an education aspect of it that sort of worked around the teachers' unions and the stranglehold that they have on blue states, and to provide some type of scholarship system to private schools. I wanted to know if you know if that stayed in the bill, because I think that's a huge benefit for our upcoming society to get these young folks education heading in the right direction.
I don't think it made it. But here's my answer though: was it in the Senate bill that passed? Because if it was, it made it. I think that didn't make it. In the final Senate bill.
I mean, I know that it was in there, and I didn't hear, I didn't read anywhere where they've taken it out, and that was a huge aspect of that.
Wait a minute.
Didn't get a lot of play, but I thought it was a great idea, to sort of bypass public schools.
I think there was something perhaps in there from my recollection, but I can't say that's certain. But I think there may have been something, but that somehow states like Illinois will not do it and won't use it. I think that's what it was, but I don't know for sure definitively. I appreciate your call. Thank you very much, Marvin. All right. All the lines are open for you now to chime in at. The big, beautiful bill has been passed. Not officially. The votes are whipped. We got it. Somebody decided to change their mind. In fact, I think, wait, one of the ones I heard, actually, from Chad Pergam on Fox before we came on this morning. Thomas Massie, Kentucky, congressman. Remember him? Remember how, for the most part, half the time we like him, the other half or a quarter of the time we don't. And Trump attacked the crap out of him. Remember, he said he was going to, knock him out of office, and the polling was looking bad for him. Like, he saw like a week. You're out of here. And they already put together. I played it for when I was filling it. I don't think it was here. Maybe here, maybe somewhere else. But I played the video. Was they released a pre-produced, an already produced commercial for a campaign to take out Massie already. That was like last week, and so he did something for Massie to shut up and vote yes. He got Massie to jump. I know that one. I can't remember the other one. So the idea that this thing passed before the 4th of July, which nobody thought could happen, is insane. Lines wide open at 312-642-5600. How do you feel about the big, beautiful bill passing? It is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to talk to you about that. We'll play that before you come to next. So we have a bunch of folks that want to chime in, apparently. We'll take your call as well. And I want to also go through more stuff, really, really good things that we will get. By the way, the Trump tax cuts, listen to this, are now codified. They are going through. And I'm going to share with you some analysis from the Wall Street Journal that says the CBO score that says this bill is $3.3 trillion or whatever in the red. The accounting from the CBO makes it look like that, but it is totally not true. And now that the tax cuts have officially passed, well, not officially, but now that they got the votes for it, it will definitely not cost $3.3 billion from that. All that's coming up. 312-642-5600. Massive victory. Oh, and we get to hear from one of the brothers Castro. This one, Joaquin Castro, the congressman, attacking it. It's fun to watch them get mad, isn't it? And to win while we're watching them, to eat some popcorn and watch these people get all mad. 312-642-5600. Chris on Chris Crock on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Perhaps you're a collector. Or perhaps, all of a sudden, you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Sean Thompson for Donley Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donley Auctions with their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions. They have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonleyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donley does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers, it's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donley has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donley Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
Enjoy uninterrupted programming from Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson around the clock, all day, every day, including daily replays of Chicago's Morning Answer on Dan and Amy 24/7. Listen now at danandamy247.com. AM 560, The Answer.
That's what this bill does. It will dedicate billions of dollars for them to go into Latino communities and try to strip people of their citizenship.
Joaquin Castro of the Brothers Castro, the communists from San Antonio. Yes. Not citizens, but yes. Not just Latinos. Radical Islamists from the Islamic Republic of Mauritania in Africa. Chinese illegals. Iranian illegals. Illegals from Turkey. Illegals from any nation you can. Azerbaijan, Afghanistan, so many countries. Russians, Ukrainians, not all Latinos, sir. This was a full-scale invasion. And yes, I read through you all the different things this the BBB is doing for getting illegals out of the country. It is insane. This is a massive, massive win. On Medicaid, what this means is 4.8 million bums who won't volunteer or work 20 hours a week will not get Medicaid if they don't do that part-time work requirement. Also, American Enterprise Institute says those folks, they spend 4.2 hours per day watching TV and playing video games. And we're paying for them to have insurance. And AOC and Joaquin Castro and others, Democrats, they're all mad about that. They want those bums to get free health care on our dime. Now, the illegals part, 1.4 million illegals, that I heard that didn't make it, but maybe I'm off on that. I'm looking at the Wall Street Journal. They say if that went through, it's 1.4 million. So, and then 1.6 million people will be kicked off Medicaid that have access to other forms of subsidized coverage, such as Obamacare. All right. Numbers 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. And, gentlemen, who do we have next again? Rich. Thank you. Rich, you are on AM 560. The Answer. Chris, in for Dan. Hello.
Hey, good morning, Chris. How you doing today?
Good, sir. How are you?
First thing I'd like to say, Chris, is I want to wish you, Dan and Amy, everybody at 560, and all the listeners safe and happy 4th. And then the next thing I want to talk about is this bill. Yeah. I think Trump has shown the American people how much he cares about the country, and the Democrats did nothing but lie about everything in the bill just so they could obstruct what Trump is trying to do for the people of this country. And they're the ones that are saying that they're for the middle class, which they are not. And
you know
that's what I feel about the bill being passed.
You're right. You're right. I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, man. Have a great day. Okay, here's you're right. There was a Wall Street Journal article yesterday saying that the poor folk, the middle class and down to the poor, completely switched sides. And this is why Medicaid and some of the cuts were sensitive to some Republicans, because the Republicans are now the party of people making under $50,000, making under $100,000, and Democrats are the party of making over $100,000. And that is why the Medicaid sensitivities exist for some of these Republican senators. Okay? We are that party. You are right. We're the party of the little guy. Check this out. Here's another little factoid. I'll just keep dropping them as we now find out the big, beautiful bill will pass. The votes are whipped in time for Trump in a glorious, glorious celebration in Iowa. You and me, tomorrow, bask in the glory of this victory. Trump says the big, beautiful bill will mandate at least 1 million deportations per year and fully fund the final sections of the border wall. Yes. Phil, you are on AM 560 The Answer. Chris Kroc, in for Dan. Hello.
Hey, morning. This bill boils down to just the tax cuts for all Americans. I mean, overtime, Social Security, and tips. Every American is going to be probably putting anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 extra in their pocket at the end of the year. I mean, that's life-changing money for a lot of people.
Guess what
I don't
else?
understand. Yeah, I don't understand why this isn't hard to vote for.
Every police officer, I know many of them in the Chicagoland area, in the city and outside of the city. And they work, particularly in Chicago, as you know, they have so much overtime because there's so many times where they're called into the work. They cannot have a day off half the time because of how the city doesn't, rein in criminals. The suburbs are the same thing. I have folks who I know very closely in suburbs, and they, too, are working a lot of overtime. God bless our police officers. This will bless them richly. Did you have one more point?
Yeah, and I was going to say is, why are they talking about Medicaid being like a big issue in it when really it's just basically all the lazy people, like you said, that don't work, that can work. And we don't care about that. We just want our tax cuts. That's what it boils down to.
And also, as I mentioned a little earlier, you talk about the tax cuts. The 2017 Trump tax cuts now are renewed, and I believe it means in perpetuity. It's done. And that is so incredible to stimulate this economy. businesses now have definitive tax cuts that they can now use to reinvest into their companies. This is going to set all the stuff I've been reading the past 24 hours is really coming out here as I'm just kind of thinking and talking. I'm realizing more and more from what I've read. This is going to set this economy on fire even more. And that's where I said, too, the critical reason why by July 4th the Journal said had to be done was because the effects of the tax cuts will take effect before the midterms, and we will feel it, and that's going to redound to a massive benefit for Trump and us to keep the freaking House and the Senate to get more great stuff passed. We have several lines open. The big, beautiful bill will pass probably by tomorrow officially, but the whip votes are there. I want to hear how you feel about this. I'm going to keep sharing more of how awesome this is. We're also going to tell you about the budget baseline, the lies about the budget, and how it's going to hurt. And I think also the fact that this passed so early and that all the things that we've talked about and learned about with the Senate bill have passed, that one of the things we've said is if you pass it, it's going to bless the economy and it's going to just grow more, and the deficit will be further wiped out. Okay? Reagan had that kind of a thing happen with his cuts, his regulations, deregulations, and then that's the effect. All right, we got several lines open still. 312-642-5600. How do you feel about the big, beautiful bill passing? Right in time for the 4th of July. This is insane. My mom used to say to me, coming up the ladder in the radio business, you know, boom, 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 all these big cities getting bigger and bigger as I was younger. And she said, you got a lucky horseshoe up your you-know-what. So does Trump. It's Chris Crockett for Dan. He's back Monday on AM 560, The Answer. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. I thought we had a little break earlier that we needed to take. Okay, good. Well, I'm excited. Sorry about that, guys. Tim, you are in Woodstock, not too far from my wife grew up in Cary in Crystal Lake. Hello, you are on AM 560, The Answer. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. Yeah, it's kind of neat to know that you have a McHenry County connection there with your wife.
Tons. My wife was born at Elgin Community Hospital. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice to talk to you. Thanks for taking my call. I was just going to say that it was really amusing to hear AOC lamenting that this thing's going to, I think she said, explode our national debt. I mean, the idea of a Democrat being concerned about spending is just amusing in itself. And then it's the typical nightmare scenarios that she depicts, that people won't be able to find diapers or put diapers on their babies. First of all, there's plenty of layers of protection for people who would fall through the cracks. It's always a matter of people not knowing where to go and just needing to understand where they can get help.
But where is she getting this? Is Trump as part of the big, beautiful bill cutting the production in the United States of America, the production of diapers or something? Is he invoking the defense? Is he invoking the Defense Production Act or whatever it is, where you can seize companies because we're in a time of war?
I know, and actually, the last time I remember that happening, that people couldn't find diapers, was when they locked the country down.
The last time we couldn't get actually, how about the last time you couldn't get baby formula, Joe Biden?
Right. Where the liberals were, I'm sure, the ones that were running to the grocery stores and just clearing the shelves so their neighbors couldn't
screaming at you also because yes, doing that, and stealing it. It. Go ahead and screaming at you if you didn't have your mask.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a good day. I didn't hear the first part. I hope and pray it goes through the.
It will go through. It will go through the House. It's official. It happened like an hour or two ago, and in fact, it's going to be official. Let me look at my. It hasn't officially. They haven't done the vote yet, but literally, I'm telling you, like within the hour, I believe. They might be doing the vote because Hakeem Jeffries is only going to be speaking for about an hour, I heard, and he's still yammering about nothing. Hitler this, Hitler that, concentration camp that. Just throw the buzzwords in and pretend you're mad, right? Maybe throwing a Dean scream in there. Ah! I appreciate your call from the great county of McHenry in Woodstock, where Groundhog Day was filmed, as we all know.
Oh yes. Yeah, we're poised to celebrate that next time. We just kind of hang around don't do much until Groundhog Day.
Do you remember Needle Nose Ned? Needle Nose Ned?
Oh no, I don't.
He kept getting punched out every day. I gotta go here, but he I interviewed him on my show years ago. He is an incredible character actor. He was in Mississippi Burning as well. We have several lines open now. Chime in. How do you feel about the big beautiful bill actually passing? Not officially yet, but it's going to. And I got more just amazing things about what's passed and all the goodies coming up next. It's Chris Kroc filling in for Dan on Chicago's Morning Answer, AM 560 The Answer.
They're almost ready to vote in the House. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're going to pass this bill. President Trump's going to sign it. It's going to be a great 4th of July.
Congressman Steve Scalise and Republicans appear mostly united on the president's one big beautiful budget bill, ready to approve the Senate's version.
We are finally going to give and restore that great American dream and that hope for those families who have been waiting way too long.
That'll make the soon to expire 2017 tax cuts permanent. And there are exemptions for tip and overtime income. And there are spending cuts to programs like Medicaid, attaching a work requirement for some recipients, angering Democrats like Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
Directly contrary to what President Trump indicated in January, which was that he was going to love and cherish Medicaid. Nothing about this bill loves and cherishes Medicaid. It guts Medicaid.
Democrats say millions of Americans will lose health coverage and food assistance. 4 people are dead in Chicago, where police are searching for a gunman after a drive-by shooting late last night that also wounded 14 others outside a nightclub following an album release party for a rapper. Hours after rapper Sean Diddy Combs was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering at his federal trial in New York.
It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system.
His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, that jury did convict Combs on 2 prostitution counts that could get him up to 20 years in prison, and he remains jailed awaiting sentencing. In Idaho, Brian Koberger admitted to a judge he's a killer, pleading guilty to murdering 4 college students in 2022. Fox's Chanley Painter was in the court.
Emotions ran high throughout the rows of victims' family members. Members of Ethan Chapin's family, Kaylee Gonsalves' family, wiped tears as their names were said by the judge. And in the front row, Maddie Mogen's father, he squirmed in his seat. He was gritting his teeth, clenching his hands, and looking furious, fighting back tears throughout the whole hearing.
Koberger will be sentenced in 3 weeks to life in prison. The plea deal lets him avoid the death penalty. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 71 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. The family of fallen Chicago police officer Crystal Rivera are demanding answers. Her mother called for an independent investigation by the Illinois State Police into her death.
And as her mother, I'm asking for complete transparency. I need to understand what happened that night. I need to know the truth.
Family members also want to see cell phone records and body-worn camera footage that captured the deadly June 5th shooting. Chicago police say that she died when she was accidentally shot by another officer in the Chatham neighborhood. 2 men have been charged in connection with the shooting. Some aldermen are looking for answers from Chicago police on how officers responded to a recent ICE raid in the city's South Loop last month. Perry Williams reports.
Glenn Brooks from CPD testified at a committee hearing that officers did not assist federal agents.
We then moved outside of the facility and we provided public safety, traffic control to ensure that people were not going to be run over.
The committee did pass an order yesterday that requires police brass and the mayor's office to turn over all communications related to the police presence during the operation in question last month, including body cam video.
News is a service of Fox Valley Coins. No waiting, no problems, no charge for in-store verbal appraisals. Bring your gold or silver in today. FoxValleyCoins.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Independence. It's something worth fighting for. And the Founding Fathers thought so as well. Sure, this grand experiment has had its ups and downs, but ask yourself, would you want to live anywhere else? Yeah, didn't think so. This weekend, we celebrate all that makes up the red, white, and blue. This weekend, we celebrate independence. AM 560, The Answer.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HIM to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text HIM to 321-321. That's HIM to 321-321.
Your business is under attack 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a fact. Small businesses are the low-hanging fruit. You may think you're protected, but you're vulnerable in many ways, and cyber attackers actively prey on small businesses. But Turnkey can protect you. Turnkey is the key to cyber protection. Turnkey has a quick and efficient 12-point evaluation to determine if your business, your profits, are at risk. And right now, for a limited time, Turnkey is offering the first month of service to all new customers free. Peace of mind, free. It includes all Microsoft licensing, antivirus, anti-malware, and completed data backup both on-site and off-site, plus help desk support. Don't leave you, your employees, and your customers vulnerable. Talk to Turnkey. Visit turnkey.pro. 3 decades of experience. That's turnkey.pro. Turnkey, the champion of small business.
From the Team Hawkburg Traffic Center, I'm Nikki Whaley. On the Edens inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, 14 minutes. Outbound, 13 minutes. On the Kennedy inbound from Montrose to the Burn Interchange, 11 minutes. Outbound, about 10 minutes. On the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 13 minutes. Outbound, about 16 minutes. On the Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive, 21 minutes. Outbound, about 15 minutes. On the Dan Ryan inbound from 95th to the Burn Interchange, 12 minutes. Outbound, about 10 minutes. Traffic is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Have you been getting high quotes for dental implants with medical PPO insurance? It's possible to save 90% off on average. See if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com, making smiles great again. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Thunderstorms may bring strong wind gusts in certain spots. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm in spots early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Yeah, AM 560, The Answer. Chris Crock filling in for Chicago's Morning Answer. Dan's back Monday. Here we are. The House did unofficially pass the big, beautiful bill. They got the votes. They whipped up the votes overnight. They just needed 2 more. And I'm sure Trump called them personally and said, what do you need? What can I do to get you? When you whittle it down to 1 or 2, you know you can get them. They got them. I cannot emphasize how big of a deal this is. Maybe you're milquetoast on the bill. Most of us are not in the Republican conservative type camp. I got more excited especially when I read this journal article that said a column called "The Great Budget Baseline Con," the lie that the big beautiful bill will add $3.3 trillion to the deficit over 10 years. It's only true if you assume Congress was going to tolerate a $4.5 trillion tax increase. That would be the result if the 2016 tax reform expired at the end of the year. We now know that the 2017 tax cuts they're codified now. Once this is passed officially, which will be by tomorrow, I'm understanding, as far as the actual vote, then the tax cuts will be codified in perpetuity. That's my understanding, meaning there's no $3.3 trillion deficit, for example, because of that. Because what it is that the CBO uses, the scoring system they use, assumes that the legislation in this bill that needs to be renewed, like the tax cuts, to continue going, it assumes they will not be renewed at the end of this fiscal year. When you do that, then it shows the math is bad. And the Journal says, get this, under the CBO's current law baseline, the SALT deduction, okay, that's the state and local tax deduction that's us getting bailed out in Illinois by red states. Oh, we have high taxes. We don't like that. Give us money so we can keep doing Governor Pritzker's destructive policies. Also, so on SALT, they raised the cap to $40,000 on that, okay? Now, I got a lot, so that's what it is. That's why they say it's got a deficit and all that stuff. It's not true in those regards. There's so many good things to share with you. With illegals, $45 billion to more than double ICE detention capacity to 100,000 beds. That is insane. For example, Alligator Alley has 3,000 beds. That is now the largest, Alligator Alcatraz, that is now the largest facility in the country. How about this? We're going to double the ICE detention capacity. This is going to supercharge it. Also, the border wall will be completed. It puts in billions for the border wall to be completed. $14 billion for transportation and removals of illegals. $8 billion for 10,000 new ICE personnel. Just so many more things. It's incredible. What else do we have in the list of goodies? This is a bad one, actually. The debt ceiling is raised by $5 trillion, but that is what it is on that. It'll block Medicaid funding for at least a year for Planned Parenthood. Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood is now blocked for at least a year, so they can't play a shell game so they can kill more babies. The ruling from parliamentarian also comes after the changing the timing of the defunding from 10 years to 1. So that's why they were trying to defund Planned Parenthood for 10 years, but it'll only be for 1. Here we go. Medicaid. You now have eligibility requirements. You can't be a bum. You got to work 20 hours a week or volunteer 20 hours a week or you get nothing. SALT, I mentioned 40,000. No tax on tips passes. Nobody thought that would happen. They thought, it's a nice idea for some people. It's novel. It'll get people to vote for you. Never going to happen. Yes, it will. It's done. Every police officer in the state of Illinois who works overtime, which if you're in the Chicagoland area, you're working overtime all the time, particularly if you're a Chicago police officer. The first $25,000 of their overtime, no taxes. You have any idea? Can you imagine what this will do to a police officer? Can you imagine what this will do to anyone working overtime? $12,500. Okay, excuse me. Tips is $25,000, where you get no taxes. $12,500 on overtime pay. Forgive me, $12,500 for overtime pay. $25,000 for tips. People making $150,000 or less will qualify for the maximum deductions on those taxes on tips and overtime. Child tax credit goes up. This is where I wish my children were young. They're old, 18 to 22. Child tax credit goes from $2,000 to $2,200. Now you have a $10,000 deduction for auto loan interest if it's a U.S.-made car. This can I tell you? You and I love this. Ready? It strips a new excise tax on wind and solar. I have a separate article here from NBC that literally says for any wind and solar projects, if the parts are made in China, there's a tax on them. Because a lot of this crap is made in China. Those are some of the things. So how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this, knowing that Alligator Alley opens? Hundreds of illegals arrived in Alligator Alley last night. The big, beautiful bill will be voted on by tomorrow, and then Trump wraps up the week in Iowa celebrating the 4th of July. I mean, it's like a coronation. And it's going to be like a coronation of American royalty, quote unquote, every other month for 4 years, which I love. Lines wide open at 312-642-5600. Oh, we have one line that is not available. Joe You are in Arlington Heights, and you are on AM 560, The Answer. Chris filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello.
Good morning. You know, here in Arlington Heights, we love Independence Day, so I jotted down a little poem. It's called 56 Brave Men. 56 brave men signed names upon parchment with pen. Their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor was the risk borne by our founding fathers. To throw off the bonds of oppression, freeing themselves from the despot's succession, against the strongest nation on earth, they risked all to give freedom its birth. The inspiration of the founders desired, the consent of the governed must be required. The Stamp Act and T-Acts made their anger grow. True independence. I got everything going off over here in the house. I'm so sorry.
Your microwave is ready, sir. Get that breakfast sandwich.
The Boston Massacre left 5 colonists dead. Righteous revolution now adequately fed. Soon 342 chests of tea, the natives, disguised, would dump in the sea. By the North Bridge near Lexington and Concord, around the world a shot would be heard. And soon a ragtag army had to be formed, but at Bunker Hill they were ravaged and torn. Washington's surprise on Christmas night was proof the colonies were learning to fight. Our first Continental Congress just had to meet. Philadelphia became revolution's seat. 13 colonies without representation determined to build better nation. In 1776, lovers of liberty firmly aligned. The 4th day of July, the Declaration was signed. Don't forget the 56 who came before, who bravely kicked open freedom's door. Only through heaven's inspiration was laid the foundation for our great nation. To guard this gift must each generation work to preserve this most special nation, that tyranny should reign no more. That's our American identity to its core.
Excellent. That is absolutely excellent, my friend.
Sorry, thank you. And
say hello to my aunt and uncle who live in Arlington Heights. And God bless you, and happy 4th of July, my brother.
Yes.
Take care. Thank you very much.
To you as well. Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, here's a quick few things before we go to Corey in a moment. Plus, we have about 2-3 lines open, maybe even 4 or 5. 312-642-5600. The big, beautiful bill did get the votes. It will pass within probably 24 hours or so. And right in time, you know how it'll be, you know how Trump is. He's going to make them get this thing officially voted on. But the votes are there. It's over. It's just unbelievable what this guy did. I'm telling you, everybody and their brother in the media and even a lot of folks on our side said there's no way it was going to pass before July 4th. This freaking president is defying gravity. Kevin Hassert, White House economist, says that the permanence, and this is from Grover Norquist in a column yesterday on Fox News, White House economist Kevin Hassett found that the permanence of individual and corporate tax reduction in this big, beautiful bill that will pass now, the Senate's version, that the permanence of the individual and corporate tax reduction will increase economic growth to the point that revenue will rise $4 trillion over the next decade. Growth will increase in wages and manufacturing. Growth will reduce the size of the deficit. Every Democrat opposes the bill. They'll have to explain why. No taxes on tips, no overtime, and Social Security against expansion of the child credit, etc., child tax credit. Here's another little point. The bill repeals the Biden law that forced us, taxpayers, to deal with those confusing IRS paperwork just for using PayPal and Venmo. No more piles of tax forms every time you share a payment for the monthly rent or dinner out. Remember when he did that? Anything over 400 or 200 or something? That's still sick. That sick, draconian man punishing the freaking little people. My wife buys and sells stuff on the side, as a side project on Facebook, a marketplace. She's a buy and sell machine, and this was going to destroy us. And we are not making $300,000, $400,000 a year. This would destroy. It wouldn't destroy us, but it would make our tax bill shoot up and hurt her badly for having a little side hustle. Corey, you are in Woodlawn. You're on AM 560 The Answer. Chris in for Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello.
Hey, thanks for taking the call. You know what? Donald Trump has kept every promise. With the signage of this bill, he has kept every promise he has made to the American people. I am so glad I voted for him 3 times. I'm so glad he's the president of the United States.
Yes.
I have never seen somebody work that hard to keep a promise to the American people.
I remember thank you very much for your call. Have a wonderful 4th of July. I remember I've been talking earlier in the show about how this is a massive week of winning after last week's massive week of winning. I forgot to tell you and remind you that yesterday we talked about this big time. UPenn apologizing for what it did to the women on their sports teams and the women in the NCAA competitions like Riley Gaines, and struck every single thing that Leah Thomas, whose real name is William Thomas, who is, I think, 462nd in the country as a man, but then became one of the top 5 as a man saying he's a woman. So that was a massive victory yesterday. And then you got Alligator Alcatraz that is online in 8 days, and hundreds of illegals came in last night. You got the coronation, quote unquote, of the president and the first lady going back to Iowa for the 4th of July, being Americana. You can't beat this. And now the big, beautiful bill will pass in time for the 4th of July holiday, which is wild. Jeff, you're on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, bud, first off, shout out to my lovely wife getting up early for Mass with the kids this morning.
There you go.
But, dude, I don't want any of it. I don't want any of this. You took out the Short Act, and you took out the Hearing Protection Act. I want my liberties first before I want $1. And Corey's wrong. Trump hasn't done everything. He keeps letting the ATF run over us. They just did something with the pistol brace thing, reinstated that. I want my liberties first. None of this matters. And you're going to give me $12,000 for working overtime? That's a pittance.
No.
That's a pittance.
You miss. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you that's incorrect. Nobody's getting $12,000. If the first $12,500 that you earn in overtime, okay?
That's what I'm saying. It's a pittance.
Hold on. No, relax a second. But you said that nobody's getting $12,500. That's
no. I meant for working for overtime. I meant
no.
That should be unlimited. I don't.
What you meant to say? What you meant to say was the $12,500. The first $12,500 you earn in overtime will not be taxed. But the value that we're getting or not getting is not $12,500. It's whatever the taxes are on $12,500. But I'm going to tell you this: I don't know what the math is on that, and it also probably depends on how much you take in. Right? If you can't make above $150K to get that, no tax on overtime and no tax on tips.
Actually,
let me just say this real fast, Jeff, and that is whatever the math is. Let's say it's to a police officer in Mundelein. Let's just say. And let's say that when you do the math on his taxes, not being taxed for $12,500 in overtime, let's say it's $2,000 or $3,000. It's hard to say no to getting your money back. But I respect you, Jeff. I respect you for saying liberty and rights are first. I respect that. Thank you for your call, sir. I appreciate you very much. All right, you have a great day. I respect that. You remind me of my friend when 9/11 happened. I was in my first full-time talk show in Middle Missouri, Jefferson City, Missouri. 9/11 happened. He's like, I would rather. He's like, he was so angry about us, Granny being frisked, all the Patriot Act, all that stuff. He's like, I'd rather have a plane fly into the building than lose our rights. I thought it was pretty crazy because I was in the middle of all that, but I respect that. I didn't agree with that necessarily at the time, but I respect it. All right, we got about several lines open, actually, but we also have coming up next, we have Robert and we have Frank. All you guys are coming up in just a bit, plus your call. How do you feel about the big, beautiful bill having the votes? Fox News just saying this, for example, House advances Trump's massive agenda bill after fiscal hawks cave, and that's how they announce it. The vote won't happen yet, but they got the votes. That's insane that they did this. I'm so proud of President Trump. There's a lot of stuff in the bill that I don't like either. I know that. By the way, here's cool. Here's what's really cool. Coming up at 7:37, Stephen Moore, Trump's economist, is going to break down why this is such a big deal. That's going to be, that's at 7:37, excuse me. But that's coming up in an hour. Meantime, your reaction. How do you feel about the big, beautiful bill being passed? Numbers 312-642-5600. This is Chris Kroc in for Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Remember mixtapes?
I was more of an 8-track guy myself.
You know, the new Marshfield 7000 Sulfat Penny Mustard reminds me of the world's greatest mixtape.
We have taken the latest and greatest components of every configurable sofa and mixed them all together into one.
It's kind of like a greatest hits album, except you can sit on it.
The Marshfield 7000 Sofa, made in Wisconsin with a solid wood frame and hundreds of fabric and leather options, starting at just $21.26 at Penny Mustard.
7 locations throughout Chicagoland.
PennyMustard.com.
As a family-owned business, your complete satisfaction means the world to McGrath Automotive Group. Everyone and everything at all the locations are dedicated to making the McGrath experience your best experience. Whether you're looking to buy a new vehicle, in for service, or just taking a test drive, McGrath Automotive Group will always give you the personal attention you deserve. Visit one of their dealerships today in person or online at GoMcGrath.com. That's GoMcGrath.com. Service, value, reputation. That's the power of McGrath.
Before you go down that road, hit pause. Amy Jacobson here, and I want to tell you about something that's helping a lot of AM 560 listeners get their lives back. It's my friends at QC Kinetics. They are the leaders in regenerative medicine. They provide treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma designed to help your body heal itself. So no more masking the pain. This goes to the root of the problem to provide healing. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. Even Joe Rogan loves it. AM 560 listener Tracy is proud to report that she's a new QC Kinetics customer. It doesn't cost anything for a second opinion. Weekend appointments available, and this could be life-changing. Call my friends at QC Kinetics today and tell them Amy Jacobson sent you. Call 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, this is a good one. My friend has the LP album, the album, and it's in the shape of Africa. He's one of those audiophiles. He loves collecting records, and it's a great song. All right. Hey, the big, beautiful bill will pass. They have the votes. How do you feel about that? And let's go to lines wide open at 312-642-5600, except for Robert. Robert in Bloomingdale, you're on AM 560. The Answer. Chris Kroc in for Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello.
Hey, Chris. First of all, happy 4th of July. And I want to thank you. I just want to comment on the big, beautiful bill. I think it's a wonderful thing that this passed, because not only people don't understand at first, some people, that is the radical left, that you got to beef up the border, and you got to do other security measures against terrorism. We don't want another 9/11. And part of the bill that I like is that people who are eligible to work, not be on Medicaid, should be working. There's no reason why they can't be working unless you have coal miner's disease or a heart condition and you can't work anymore.
And those folks would not be penalized or lose their Medicare or Medicaid. The other thing is, if you have a dependent or somebody who's disabled and you have to be there with them, you do not have to do that either.
Well,
you don't lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing quickly. The radical left, they keep saying, they're going to try to touch Social Security. No, they're not. They're just trying to root out the corruption, the graft, and the waste. So that's what I wanted to say, and thank you, and have a nice 4th of July. I appreciate you.
You too, Robert. Have a great 4th of July. Okay, coming up next, you have to hear this. You have to hear what an expert on a history of concentration camps, what she says about Alligator Alcatraz and what the left is saying about it. And then also massive fireworks over the police office, Chicago police, not working with ICE, but getting in there when ICE called 911 a couple weeks ago. It was all over the news. We've got more on that coming up next. It's Chris Kroc filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer, AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. It's 71 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. House Republicans have been working overtime to get members of their own party to vote for President Trump's massive spending bill, while Democrats like House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries are speaking out against it.
The one big ugly bill will rip nutritional benefits away from millions of Americans, including children, rip food from the mouths of hungry children.
A key procedural vote to move the bill forward came after hours of uncertainty that saw a handful of GOP lawmakers withhold their votes on the multi-trillion-dollar spending package. A final floor vote is expected sometime this morning. A drive-by shooting happened outside of a Chicago nightclub, leaving 3 dead and at least 16 others injured. It happened late Wednesday night near the Artist Lounge, as many people were leaving an album release party for hip-hop artist Mellow Bucks. Police have not released any information yet on the suspect or suspects. This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Shop Mattress Firm's July 4th sale and reclaim your sleepless nights. Choose from a curated premium selection of mattresses to find just the upgrade you're looking for. Get matched, sleep at night. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Larry Elder knows why we haven't heard much from the left.
Polling that shows most Americans support what President Trump is doing, which is to prevent Iran from getting a nuke. Now, the reason Democrats haven't said anything is because they do not want to give any support to President Trump. It doesn't matter what he does, what he says, they're just not going to do it.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
From the Team Hawkburg Traffic Center, I'm Nikki Whaley. On the Edens inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, 14 minutes. Outbound, 13 minutes. On the Kennedy inbound from Montrose to the Burn Interchange, 11 minutes. Outbound, about 10 minutes. On the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 13 minutes. Outbound, about 16 minutes. On the Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive, 21 minutes. Outbound, about 15 minutes. On the Dan Ryan inbound from 95th to the Burn Interchange, 12 minutes. Outbound, about 10 minutes. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster started in 2010 in Kyle Cox's garage after he overpaid for new blinds. He researched the industry, hired his mom, and 14 years later, they're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check for your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with in some areas later this afternoon. Be aware that these storms could bring strong wind gusts. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm possible early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock filling in. Dan's back Monday. 312-642-5600 is our number. 312-642-5600. Right now, I cannot wait. Here we go. All right, first of all, we had Joy Reid. This is so funny. I played it for you yesterday, but it never gets old. Here she is. Talking about, ICE. Obviously, the alligator Alcatraz is a concentration camp. A concentration camp. Let's see, here she is.
Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour of the concentration camp that he's building in Florida in order to round up brown people, and throw them in a camp.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's what they're doing. It is a concentration camp, and all they're doing is wearing masks and grabbing anybody. They're not checking status. They just grab brown people and throw them in there. And the illegals that are not brown, like from China or from Russia or Ukraine or Turkey, what have you, they're letting them go because it's only about the skin tone. She figured it out. Oh my gosh, how'd she figure us out, right? Okay. Now comes Pramila Jayapal, and she just rips off the Band-Aid and says, here it is, ICE are terrorists. Here we go. Ron
DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour.
Sorry about that. Here it is.
What is deranged and cruel and outrageous is that literally we are seeing ICE agents. I assume they're ICE agents. They say they are. They don't have any identification. They're wearing masks. They're in plain clothes. They are coming and kidnapping and disappearing people on the streets of the United States. I never in a million years thought that that is something that I would see here in America. And so I think it is the administration that has to apologize to U.S. citizens that have been rounded up.
Yes, we are rounding up thousands of U.S. citizens. We're rounding them up and we're deporting them to Alligator Alcatraz or to Nicaragua, or actually, no, Tzicat in El Salvador. That's it. She figured us out, too. Wow, these ladies are figuring things out fast. Wow.
To legal permanent residents, to people with legal statuses across the country who are getting swept up, people who have been here for 20 years and committed absolutely no crimes, getting swept up.
Well, if you're here for 23 years as an illegal, you committed a crime and you have to pay for that crime. And you can thank Joe Biden for this extra enhanced enforcement, which I'm loving.
By masked men who are kidnapping them and deporting them.
Kidnapping them! We're kidnapping people! Yes.
That, to me, is what is so outrageous. It's unconstitutional, it's illegal, and it is absolutely terrorizing people, including small businesses, farmers.
Okay, I got to ask her a question here. If it's illegal and unconstitutional, why haven't you sued? You would think that if Trump was doing something illegal and unconstitutional, they would sue and they'd win and it'd be over. All right. Here's the kicker. A woman named Andrea Pitzer. She wrote a book on the Holocaust and on Auschwitz. Actually, not on the Holocaust, but on concentration camps. And One Long Night, I think it's called. Here it is. Andrea Pitzer, author of One Long Night, A History of Concentration Camps. She came out and said this. By the way, she said it on Blue Sky. I've never been there because I'm not a leftist, but I went there, clicked on the thing, and saw what she said. She says, Alligator Alcatraz is a concentration camp. She would know. She's an expert. She says, let's see, in a tweet, mass detention of civilians without a trial, or traditional legal protections on the basis of identity, race, religion, ethnicity, political affiliation, rather than any criminal act. Illegally coming here is a criminal act. Often for an indefinite period and done principally to expand political power. Check. Yes, the expert on concentration camps. She nailed us. Oh, my gosh, we're running a concentration camp. Quick, hide. Hide it. She does say this, though. And by the way, we're not deporting people based on their race, as she claims. We are not deporting people based on their religion, as she claims. We are not deporting people based on their ethnicity or political affiliation, as she claims. How do you, when you go to arrest somebody, how do you figure out their political persuasion? And by the way, there is an Iranian-American man, whose wife was just deported the other day. He's got Trump flags and Trump hats everywhere, and he says he will not. His wife was convicted of shoplifting or stealing of some kind. I don't know what kind of stealing, but she got convicted of stealing several years back, and that hurt her ability to continue on her track to getting citizenship. And so she had an order of removal from that from way back when. She was just rounded up and deported, and the Iranian man says, I'm not taking down my Trump flags. I am not stopping supporting him. So there you go. That's some terrorism, isn't it? Now this lady, this expert on concentration camps, says she continues, people want to substitute Auschwitz, and there are people saying it's Auschwitz, which is obviously insane. When people want to substitute Auschwitz for Alcatraz, they are wrong. She says Auschwitz, where more than 1 million were murdered. Instead of equating them, I'd say we should act now to stop the future from getting closer to the past. See, if we let this keep going, we're going to have Auschwitz. Wow. Okay. And anyway, so there you have that. That's the comedy there. The New Republic writing this. The grand opening of an American concentration camp. That's the headline for their article, the column. And then it says, it has built, as in the Republicans and officials under Trump, it has been built to cage thousands of people rounded up by ICE and an allied law enforcement agency as part of Trump's mass deportations. Yes, it is a concentration camp. And then she writes, the American concentration camp is on view Tuesday. Let me ask you this. I don't know if anybody had air conditioning. I don't think anybody did in during the World War II years. But if they did have air conditioning widely available, whether in Poland, Germany, or other where these godforsaken, horrific, evil places of concentration camp, where do you think that the Germans would give the Jews and others in a concentration camp? Do you think the Germans would give them air conditioning? This alleged concentration camp has air conditioning. This alleged concentration camp, unlike Joe Biden, has air conditioning. Joe Biden didn't even have walls on the side. And there was no air conditioning. And it wasn't flat concrete with beds. It was just rocks and chain link fence. You literally were treated like a goat, some kind of an animal. Maurice, you've called in at 312-642-5600. Chris Crock filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer. Maurice, you're in. Oh, I've been waiting to say this on the air for years. Berwyn.
Yes, Berwyn's in New Jersey, the Midwest. Buddy, here's why as I told the screener, hey, I'm African American. I have no dog in this fight. But my goal, oftentimes, is why I tell people, you can be powerful and just simultaneously. Hey, I will put people through the court system and still send them. I don't think you guys are even wrong. But you can be powerful, send these guys, and still deport them. What I think you guys lose points is, and I even just told my friend this, you guys are going to lose the sympathy points. I'm a Democrat. I believe in immigration reform. Hey, you're illegal? Send some of these guys back. But as Donald Trump has said, hey, the ones who are working on the farms, hey, these farmers are taking points, losing points on this. And what I find exhausting is that because of the way we are in this country, everything just goes back to extremes. You guys do great things financially sometimes, right? I want a group of tree huggers to be back in power. And so because people see these kids, literally I just saw a kid shoved into a van. You guys may lose the midterms. It'll be a bunch of tree huggers taking all my money.
Let me pause for pause for 1 second on this. First of all, you are not a radical Democrat. You are a moderate Democrat, which makes you in a very good way dangerous. You are actually not dangerous. I mean in a good way. I'm giving you it's a compliment. But what I mean to say is this. What I want to say is this. Not one moderate Democrat, not one Democrat said to Trump, I will vote for your big, beautiful bill if you will help me to get the Dreamers, legalized, which he would do. I want you. I will vote for you if you do this for me. That somebody like you, Maurice, if you were in there, you would cross the line and say, Trump, what can you get me that I want so that we could be happy and work together? But here's the other thing.
Life is about compromise.
Absolutely.
Life is about compromise.
As you know, no Democrat voted, and they didn't want to engage it, and that's their decision. Here's another thing that may fascinate you. There's two things about the idea of losing points for looking like it's cruel. I do understand that. I don't agree with it, but I can see absolutely why people feel that way.
Americans are very emotional people.
I know. Well, everybody is.
There's not a lot of logic. Right. There's not logical, critical thinkers.
Let me finish my thing here, though. That is a consequence, and I'm not trying to change your mind or their mind. I'm not any aspersions, but that is a consequence of 10 to 20 million people invading this country for 4 years. And none of this would be going on at this pace and at this effort if it wasn't for Joe Biden flooding this country. And it's very accurate that no country in the history of the entire world, no country in the world in our entire history of humanity has ever had this many illegals invade a country, period, let alone over a 4-year period. So this is the consequence of that. And I understand we're going to lose the sympathy argument with some people. One more thing I want to tell you about. You were right about the H-2. It's the H-2A visa, I believe it's called. H-2A visa is for farm workers. And you're going to love this, and you're not going to be surprised as a moderate Democrat that Joe Biden did this, and you would obviously not like what he did. He literally tried to unionize the H-2, I think it's H-2A, I don't think it's H-2B, H-2A a visa, which means what he wanted to do is this. He said, you need to be able to do collective bargaining if you do that. I want minimum wages on this. And he was bringing all the liberal union stuff and workers' rights stuff in there. You cannot do that specifically, but he was making it roundabout ways. And so what that did is, and also if you live with somebody, you would get insurance. It's like you're being like a domestic partner, even if you're not gay. Like if you live together in the same house. So what this did was it massively disincentivized the farmers to hire them under HB or H-2A visas. So instead, what Trump's doing is saying, this is all BS. There's no wage guarantees. There's no unionization because all that is a death knell. The farmers cannot afford that either. What this is saying, and this is what I've been saying for years, and you agree with this, I agree with this. There's no reason to be against what I'm about to say. Let's say we need 500,000 people to come into this country for 4 months out of the year to enrich themselves and enrich us by working on farms. Yeah. Let's let them come here legally for that time period, temporary, and make a killing, go home, and we'll see you in the next growing season. Because as you know, making whatever the money is, let's make up a number. I don't know what it is. Let's say it's $10 an hour or $20 an hour. Let's just say 10.
Sure.
Make it simple. $10 here is probably, I don't know, 25 in Mexico right now. It might be even 30. I have no idea. So the point is you can make hella money and go home and come back legally when it's appropriate, and everybody's happy. The farmers are happy. We're happy. The illegals are happy. It's all legal. Biometrics and that and everything. But Joe Biden wanted to make it like a union thing. So that way it could never happen. He literally was against the visas for that, and Trump is actually going to make that happen, and that blesses all of us. Nobody wants, hey, if you can come here and do something, and by the way, take a guess. I just read all this last night about the farm workers. Take a guess. What percentage of the farm workers that are picking crops and such in California, wherever you want to say, what percentage of the farmers are illegal, the people doing the farming, picking crops, are illegal? Take a guess. I have the number, but you tell me. It's curious.
41%.
How many?
41%.
41?
41.
4-1. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 4-1. Yeah.
Okay. Did you just guess that? Because you're almost exactly right. It's 40%. How did you know that?
Yeah, I have a minor in sociology. I'm a nerd.
You jerk! You cheated!
I have a minor, so I'm a black nerd. So yeah.
You're dangerous. You're like Urkel. You're like Urkel.
Well, I had no dates in high school, so I had to do something.
But here's what I want to say, though. Here's the key. The key is this: 60% are not illegal. And by the way, one other thing that Joe Biden wanted to do is he wanted to give all these like union type rights. And the other thing the Journal pointed out in their analysis of this yesterday is that there's a large amount of these folks that aren't able to do it anymore. Their bodies just can't handle it. And those people should not be, allowed to get semi-unionized under Biden, which means they can't even do the job anymore, and yet you can't fire them. The whole thing was a joke.
Well,
and it was designed.
I think your biggest.
Let me finish. It was designed to not do H-2A visas, and therefore it encouraged illegals. Maurice, you are the best. You are a moderate Democrat, which means you are dangerous in a good sense, and I appreciate your great call.
No problem. Have a good show, man.
You have a wonderful show. Carrie, keep your nerd on. Keep your nerd. The nerd force is strong with you, sir. All right, coming up next. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this. We're going to have to keep having fun with this one. We talked yesterday about the Aurora mayor. ABC7 attacked him, and they just covered the story, but some aldermen there and some former police officials there attacked him for having the audacity to say, hey, if you shoot your fireworks off, shoot it away from downtown. They attacked him in this news story yesterday. I'll play the audio if you missed it yesterday. And then we're going to combine that with what Fox 32 said about Illinoisans going into Indiana and buying fireworks illegally. And then we have to decide, are we going to go after people that shoot fireworks out, prosecute them, consider them criminals, or are we going to tell you, hey, here's a place where you can buy fireworks, here's the hours, here's people buying it, we're glorifying it. Which one is it? You can't have both. And by the way, we still don't have a fireworks display on the 4th of July in the greatest city in this country, even though it's kind of a leftist den of cesspool. Chicago, no fireworks show. Why is that? We'll continue talking about all that coming up next. It's Chris in for Dan in Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560 The Answer.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available. Financing is flexible. And at Air Right, installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Wow. At the time of this being written, both gold and silver are up some 40%. That's 40% in just 1 year. In fact, this past year, gold has broken all-time historic records by hundreds of dollars an ounce. And unlike all other financial instruments used today, that historic record goes back thousands of years. In times like these, prices have never been better on most collector and gold coins. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is trying to keep up with demand. So they're paying the most ever on not only most gold coins and bars, but also those old coin and paper money collections. They're especially looking for the scarcer dates and higher grade coins. Take advantage of the record high market price and our huge demand now, whether you're buying or selling, or just want to find out their worth. Fox Valley Coins is the place to go. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just one light north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
Hey, this is Sean Thompson. You know, there's an old joke about Uncle Sam's tax short form. The first line says, "How much did you make?" The next line says, "Send it in." Sadly, that's not funny at all for honest people who pay taxes. But that's exactly what a lot of people do in their retirement. They take money out of their 401k and their IRA, and they send it into the IRS. Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group believes there's a better plan for your retirement than Uncle Sam's plan of send it in. What if your current plan includes thousands of dollars in unnecessary taxes and fees? What if you're headed for higher Medicare payments, lower Social Security checks? What if the savings you may realize allows you to retire even earlier? Wouldn't you want to know all of that right now? Call Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group and find out today. Call 630-864-6711. The number again, 630-864-6711. You can also visit alphawealthgroup.com to schedule your no-obligation consultation.
Welcome back to Ask Hasslis.
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
By trading in that old mattress for a new Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hasslis Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. Plus, next day delivery and haul away of the old mattress for pee.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasslis.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock filling in. If you want to follow me on social media, at Chris Crock Show, that's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. David in Palatine, where my wife and I lived out of college. You are on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Good. 808 Panorama Drive is where we used to live. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no, it might be easier with the $12,000 and the $150,000 cap on this. You know, look at these guys at work. I work 70-plus hours a week. I'm losing my life. I work 6 days a week. I got, short time when I get home to get my stuff done and go back to bed and go over and do it again,
Yep.
And look at this. If a guy's making $3,000 a week, working 70 hours a week, the whole year, that's $156,000. He's losing his life to pay taxes? You know, I got a friend that makes $200,000 a year, and he works 35 hours a week. I work 70. You know, we make about the same amount of money. But luckily, I work a seasonal job, so I'm not going to have to worry about $150,000. But you're only going to give some guy $12,000? It's just a slap in the face.
Wait, no, they're not giving. You're not giving somebody $12,000. You're getting no taxes on $12,000. But let's say that's I don't know what the money is. Let's make up a number and say it's $3,000. So you don't want the $3,000. Is that what you're saying? I got 10 seconds. Go.
What I'm saying is that that $12,000 will get blown in a month and a half.
Okay. What I'll say is this: if let's make up a number. If it's $3,000, you're saying I don't want $3,000, and because there's no other alternative other than saying you'll get nothing. I appreciate your call. Thank you very much.
No, I got
to let you go. Thank you. We're on a hard break. The point is, though, it's either nothing, or I'm making up the number of $3,000 that maybe you get back out of $12,500 for taxes. I'll take the $3,000. Fireworks. Should we go after them being shot off, or should we celebrate them? AM 560, the answer.
They're still waiting to vote in the House. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. To give final approval to President Trump's one big, beautiful budget bill. He posted on Truth Social after midnight. For Republicans, it should be an easy vote, and he's been calling lawmakers.
There are going to be a lot of great jobs, Mr. Speaker, a lot of great jobs in this country. America's coming back.
Congressman Steve Scalise, the bill would make the soon-to-expire 2017 tax cuts permanent. It also makes spending cuts to programs like Medicaid, with Republicans adding a work requirement.
These so-called work requirements are just a smokescreen.
Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has delayed the vote this morning with a 3-hour speech still going on.
More than 90% of the people who receive Medicaid benefits, who can work, do work.
Democrats also say the bill would balloon the national debt. There's a search for gunmen in Chicago, where a late-night drive-by shooting outside a nightclub left 4 people dead, 14 wounded. Sean Diddy Combs remains jailed. A judge rejected the rapper and music producer's attempt to be released on bail in New York City, awaiting sentencing on prostitution charges. The jury acquitted Combs on sex trafficking and racketeering.
And all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. The obstructing justice, he was innocent of that.
Combs' attorney Mark Agnifilo. Israel went after Hamas again in Gaza with more airstrikes. Palestinian officials say 94 people were killed in the strikes and in shootings near a food distribution site amid a U.S.-brokered ceasefire attempt.
Hamas's leaders will debate the plan and ask for clarifications before issuing an official response. But President Trump says Israel has already agreed to a 60-day ceasefire. The most recent proposal called for half the remaining hostages held by Hamas to be released. It holds 50 Israelis, around 20 still believed alive. Yesterday, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promised Hamas would cease to exist when the war ends.
That's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good morning. It's 75 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Mayor Johnson's boasting that the city's experiencing its largest drop in violent crime in quite some time. Perry Williams has more.
Chicago police say homicides, shootings, and robberies have each dropped by more than 30% so far in 2025. Mayor Johnson said that there's more work ahead.
If we can drive violence down in the most violent neighborhoods in the city of Chicago, we can take that effort citywide.
The mayor praised Chicago police commanders for effectively deploying resources as well as community violence intervention efforts.
A Cook County jury is convicting a former Chicago Public Schools dean of sexually abusing a student. The jury yesterday found Brian Crowder guilty of multiple felony counts of sexual abuse. The charges were filed after a former CPS student filed a lawsuit claiming the former top administrator of the Little Village Lawndale High School sexually abused her from 2013 to 2016. Crowder was acquitted of 3 of the 7 felony sex charges he faced. A large portion of road work across the state will be suspended for 4th of July travel. The Illinois Department of Transportation announced lanes that were closed for construction will reopen where possible. to help minimize any sort of delays for the holiday travel. Non-emergency closures will be suspended this afternoon through Sunday. This news update is a service of Quick Delivery Service. When you need same-day delivery, when you need the fastest service, when you need a last-minute delivery, go to quickdelivery.com and get a quote right now. That's quickdelivery.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Mike Gallagher says it's time to get on board.
Be unified. Knock it off with the sideline nitpicking and complaining if you're on Team Trump. Because being on Team Trump means you're on Team USA. Being on Team USA benefits all Americans. Republicans, Democrats, independents. Things are getting better by the day.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Charlie Kirk at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HIM to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text HIM to 321-321. That's HIM to 321-321.
Planning a wedding is a monumental task. After months and months of preparation, on your wedding day, you have a lot to think about. The flowers, the catering, the bridal party, the DJ, the seating chart. It can be overwhelming, and no one wants all of that stress to take away from the joy of the moment. That's why you need a wedding photographer you can trust to capture those important moments so that no matter what happens on your wedding day, you'll have those memories to enjoy for years to come. For over 30 years, brides and their families have trusted Tom Kaloran Photography with their wedding days. This locally owned family business will make sure you have lasting memories to share for years to come. Tom Kaloran Photography is the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see their portfolio, just visit TomKaloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN Photography.com. Or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Kaloran Photography. Capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
From the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Nikki Whaley. On the Edens inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, 14 minutes. Outbound, 13 minutes. On the Kennedy inbound from Montrose to the Burn Interchange, 11 minutes. Outbound, about 10 minutes. On the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 13 minutes. Outbound, about 16 minutes. On the Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive, 21 minutes. Outbound, about 15 minutes. On the Dan Ryan inbound from 95th to the Burn Interchange, 12 minutes. Outbound, about 10 minutes. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster started in 2010 in Kyle Cox's garage after he overpaid for new blinds. He researched the industry, hired his mom, and 14 years later, they're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check for your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Be aware that these storms could bring strong wind gusts. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm possible early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock filling in. Dan back on Monday. 312-642-5600 is our number. 312-642-5600. Yesterday, I talked to you about this great story out of Aurora. Mayor John Loesch under fire, ABC 7 reports, after social media posts seeming to encourage residents to set off fireworks in the city. I love this story.
We want to make sure that everybody has a fun, safe, family-friendly 4th of July.
Aurora Mayor John Loesch distributing door tags and talking to people, warning them that fireworks are illegal, both by state law and city ordinance. Anyone who fires them off in Aurora could be fined up to $1,000. This from a video the city intends to release tomorrow, but it seems to contradict a message on the mayor's Facebook page that suggests people fire them off away from downtown.
When you are telling people that it's okay to break a state law, and I have a blueprint for it, when to do it, it's just shocking.
I love this guy. I love the mayor. Passing out pamphlets. Hey, it's illegal in the city and the state to shoot off fireworks. And then on social media, hey, if you're going to fire them off, fire them away from downtown. I love this guy. And then here's the rest of this post. They're shaming. You're hearing two people. You're going to hear in just a moment a retired Aurora police commander. And you're also hearing 5th Ward Alderman Carl Franco in the city of Aurora. And they're attacking the mayor for this contradictory type thing. I think it's hysterical. I think it's great. I would vote for the guy if I could. If I'm a Democrat, I'm going to vote for him twice. And my dog and my deceased grandma. We're all going to vote for him. This guy's great. Here's the other piece of the story from ABC 7.
Dan Hoffman is a retired Aurora police commander.
What was posted was illegal, immoral, and degrades the integrity of the police department that the mayor's supposed to run.
Illegal and immoral and denigrates the police. Get out of here, dude. It's freaking fireworks. How much you want to bet this guy? I don't know if he's got kids. How much you want to bet he probably has kids? How much you want to bet this guy was shooting off fireworks? He probably shoots them off. I don't know if he does. I'm just saying, how much you want to bet this guy has shot fireworks off in his backyard like all of us have? Did you and do you not shoot off fireworks because it's illegal? Look, I grew up in Chicagoland. I've when I go home, several times out of the year, I'm in Dallas right now, but when I go home, sitting in my parents' backyard, and all you can smell is the smoke. It's wafting everywhere. There's massive fireworks everywhere, and they're in a very nice area in the city. So the point being is nobody follows this crap. But ABC 7 and this retired police commander, this alderman, are, how dare you? I can't believe you. It's like he's supporting terrorism or something.
The mayor, who took office earlier this year, says he wants people to comply with the law.
Hopefully nobody violates the ordinance. I'm a realist. I've lived in Aurora a long time.
Alderman Franco, however, disagrees.
This is a state law, so I don't know how you think that you could violate that. It really is mind-boggling.
Okay, now we turn to this story from Fox 32 today. Illinoisans are crossing state lines to get fireworks. Fireworks. We're hearing these people in Aurora. How dare you? How dare you tell people to shoot their fireworks away from downtown? And then we go to Fox 32 and they're promoting fireworks.
Bought a lot of mortars and a lot of stuff for the kids. Sinister or Excaliburs. They're called cakes. I want to say they're 15 shots. They go up in the air, kind of like the Taste of Chicago.
Anything that has over 30, 40 is usually the ones that she gets.
Are you hearing this? Are you hearing these criminals? Are you seeing these criminals being lauded or being shown on our media? So blasé with such crime.
Janae's mom, Janet, is a repeat customer.
Every year on the
instead repeat customer, no, more like repeat offender.
Repeat customer.
Every year on the 4th of July, that's my time to be a big kid. I just love fireworks. It brings a...
Can you imagine if this poor lady lived in Aurora? They'd be doing a SWAT team raid on her house tomorrow.
A lot of joy.
I've been coming out here for years. I love this place. I love Indiana. We get to buy all the fireworks here.
As fireworks fanatics,
you hear all these criminals? Oh my gosh.
Plan their backyard shows.
Barbecue and celebrate our independence. Good food, good music, and just have fun.
Okay, but here's the kicker of this. This is Fox 32 at the end of the story. The reporter, Casey Cronus, has the audacity to tell you the hours so you can come across the state lines in Illinois, buy fireworks illegally, and bring them back perhaps to Aurora.
Crazy Kaplan's is still open right now. They'll be back open at 8 tomorrow morning, probably not closing until midnight tomorrow.
So you have one story out of Aurora, and former police commander Alderman are outraged. They're outraged. How dare the mayor say you shoot your fireworks, just shoot them away from them? How many people do you think, if you live in Aurora, as that great old casino commercial used to say, sing that Hollywood town, Aurora. How many people, how many clouds and wafts of smoke are going to be everywhere? You can play Purple Haze from Jimi Hendrix, and you'll be seeing the haze everywhere. Hearing the... These idiots in this story in Aurora are going to be pulling their hair out, screaming. They're going to have a chopper up in the air. They're going to go after them. Sick the dogs on them. Don't tase me, bro. Where were we? Yeah, so I just love this. I love this. So I want to ask you this: are you going to be shooting off fireworks? Will you see them in your neighborhood? Are you going to shoot them off, or do you want to prosecute them like these? Excuse my language. These asshats in Aurora. What do you say? Prosecute them or join them? Or at least ignore them. 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. And the real joy in all of this is we get to we're safe in Chicago. We won't have fireworks in Chicago. We don't want fireworks on Independence Day. We don't want to celebrate that. You'd have Alderman Cicho Lopez, somebody like him. It's white supremacists. The largest gathering of white supremacists at the Navy Pier to watch the fireworks. That won't be there, though. So we're safe. Mark's safe from the fireworks. No fireworks in Chicago. Mike, you are on AM 560 The Answer. Chris Kroc filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello, sir.
Chris, you're not serious. I think you're being devil's advocate here about being reckless with these fireworks. Leave it to professionals. My grandfather's brought it over from Italy. We do it professionally. We've done it for Navy Pier, okay? I've seen people get hurt, really bad hurt in our profession, okay? And with these, did you hear about the kid that got his face blown off at Crystal Lake last year because he leaned over an aerial salute? This is the kind of stuff that people get reckless on 4th of July. They get crazy, okay? And they lose. They don't know how bad these things are. Even little sparklers, the heat that those things generate are unbelievable. I mean, it's unreal. So to make fun of this, to make a joke of it, I've seen people get hurt and get killed in this business, okay? And to give fireworks to people that are unprofessional and don't know what the hell they're doing, I mean, that's just toxic. You can't be serious. You can't be serious, Chris. We've done
Mike,
Navy Pier, okay? And we've done Sox Park. We do exploding scoreboards. So we know what we're doing. We're talking how bad these things really are. And you're making a joke out of it. Do you have young kids, Chris?
Wait, hold on. Am I going to talk, or are you just going to keep,
No,
saying
well,
how
I'm
bad
the one
I am?
that called in. I took the time to call into your show.
Okay,
I don't even know who you are, okay?
This is not the Mike Show. Relax.
No, okay, it's the Chris Rock Show. I've never heard of you before.
Okay. I've not heard of you either, Mike, but I'm still going to respect you. Hey, whoa.
You know my business. You know my business if I tell you who it is. You'll know my fireworks if I give you the name.
Guys, pull him down. We can't have him talking over me the whole time.
All right, go ahead.
Doing the mic. No. Guys, pull his volume down now. Mike, we're going to have to control the volume because you're not capable of having a two-way conversation. You're just going to yell and say how wrong I am and how right you are. I'm hearing Mike say that sparklers are dangerous and we shouldn't be allowed to have sparklers. I'm hearing Mark say that bottle rockets that you and I have shot off for years as children with our parents or as parents or as adults, of course they're dangerous. Driving a car is dangerous. Shooting a freaking firearm like I do is dangerous. Carrying a firearm can be dangerous. Driving a car, though, is even more dangerous. So this is the trust the experts thing. And I cannot believe that you cannot believe what I'm saying. I think so. First of all, Mike, you should be firing your outrage and your anger. I'm an expert, you're not. You should be attacking Fox 32. They're promoting. They gave the name of the location in Indiana. They gave the hours. Hey, come get the fireworks. And Mike, you got to be pulling your hair out. You must be yelling at the radio hearing the Fox 32 story. You got to boycott Fox 32. You should get over to Fox 32. Get over there and say, I'm an expert. I do all these things, which I don't doubt you. But the problem is, I don't care what you're saying as far as, look, I do care what you're saying about people with serious, heavy fireworks. But that's not what this is. This is what my uncle and my dad grew up with on the northwest side of Chicago firing off. This is what I grew up on in the suburbs, the northwest suburbs of Chicago, firing with my parents in supervision. I wonder if you would take away the freaking snakes that I lit on the concrete with my parents' supervision. You would take away the sparklers, it sounds like to me totally, that I had as a kid with my dad supervising me. And yes, people are stupid. And yes, bad stuff happens. But we live in a free freaking country. And the fireworks that I shoot off illegally in the state of Illinois, having these things, what this is all about. Why are the fireworks being shot off? Because it's freaking Independence Day. And here you are saying, I don't have independence. It's not, by the way, this is not just about me. It's not about me. This is about the millions of Chicagoans and Illinoisans who fire off fireworks every day, and you vilifying us, all of us. We are not stupid. And we are allowed to do stupid things, and we'll get the risk, and we'll take the risk if we can. But my gosh, sir, you're going to need to be getting SWAT teams, choppers up in the air, state troopers, sheriffs, get MEPS, the Metropolitan Strike Force, that's all over the Chicagoland area, and you go after the 2 million people at least in Lake County, McHenry County, Cook County, DuPage County. Go after them all. Take these criminals down. We need a version of Alligator Alcatraz in Illinois. Can we build a sort of an Alligator Alcatraz in Mattoon, Illinois? How about it? Let's build this thing and let's house the 1 or 2 million people, or probably 3 or 4 million people, maybe even 5 million people throughout the state of Illinois that are going to fire off freaking fireworks that were last night, tonight, tomorrow night. Let's put those sons of bees in jail. Because this is why we can't have nice things, because you shoot off fireworks at Sox Park. I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you. The problem is, I don't care. Because you're not going to come after me or my son or my daughter or the guy next door to me or my uncle, my aunt, etc. for buying some freaking bottle rockets. Dude, you blow me away, Broham. You totally blow me away. I can't believe that you can't believe. You're literally saying that like 80% or 60% of everybody that lives in the state of Illinois is like a criminal. You're literally treating me like, I don't know your political persuasion, but you're treating me like a liberal treats a conservative. We can't trust you with a gun. It's a weapon of war. All right, Jeff, you are actually, no, wait. Do I have time to? I'll tell you what, we're going to do Jeff and Phil coming up next. Plus your call. We got Jeff in Calumet City. We got Phil in Norridge, plus your call, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. Should we be prosecuting, turning in our neighbors, calling them, reporting them like the Stasi for shooting off fireworks? Or should we just get fireworks and enjoy and not have a problem with going to Indiana as I like to say as a joke, and bringing them back to Illinois and just having some fun. Supervised, but fun. All right, 4 lines open, 312-642-5600. Right to your call next. It's Chris Kroc filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer. You can follow me on social media. See how horrible I am supporting fireworks. Follow me at Chris Kroc Show. That's at Chris Kroc Show, ChrisKrok on AM 560, The Answer.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicagoland traffic. The Ike, the Stevenson, the dreaded 294. You sitting in traffic is not time well spent. Time is money.
Oh, come on, man. What's the slowdown for?
Especially when you're trying to do your own company deliveries.
What is happening up there? I got things to deliver.
But instead of sitting there getting more and more frustrated,
Please, can we go any slower?
you could be back at the shop getting work done.
I should have stayed at work and actually worked.
Get Quick Delivery Service to battle the traffic for you. They'll make your deliveries while you get other things done. Quick Delivery Service makes it easy. No forms, no labels, no scanning. They'll deliver large pallets of materials to important documents. Simply tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going. They'll pick it up and get it to your destination quickly. Plus, your deliveries are tracked with real-time GPS notifications. Visit quickdelivery.com and stay out of traffic.
Oh no, this exit's closed?
Call now for a free quote. 847-534-2244 or go to quickdelivery.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-894-9190 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-894-9190. That's 800-894-9190. What do you have to lose? Call 800-894-9190. Again, 800-894-9190.
They took everything. Our equipment, our supplies, it's all gone.
It's devastating. Every order is going to be delayed for months, and our customers are going to find someone else.
I don't know if we'll ever recover from this. We're already getting calls from clients checking on their orders.
Who knows how long it will take to get back on our feet? What were we thinking not upgrading our security?
Don't let a break-in devastate your business. Protect yourself with Goldilocks. They'll create a customized security solution for you. From commercial doors with keyless entry to 24/7 alarm monitoring, they have you covered. Learn more at GoldilocksInc.com and have a security technician conduct an on-site assessment of your business. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call Goldilocks now. 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicagoland's premier locksmith doors and security systems company since 1981.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago immune support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
AM 560, The Answer.
I've been having so much fun with that. That guy that called in was mad for fireworks. He's so funny. All right, let's go right to your calls. The fireworks dude, my company, people know who I am. I don't know who you are. Thank you. You can't have a bottle rocket, Chris. How dare you? You're going to blow your face off. It can happen. Same thing can happen if I drive like an idiot. Jeff, you are calling in from Calumet City on AM 560 The Answer. Hey.
Good morning, Chris. I just wanted to say about that gentleman, I understand his point of view, and I don't want anyone to get hurt, but I bet you more people drowned in backyard pools than die of fireworks. At least there's very, 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 very few deaths from fireworks, some maiming, loss of fingers, eyes, that sort of thing. But, I'm driving on 8094 and 294 headed toward Indiana, and I must have passed up 30 advertising boards all along the highway here about all the fireworks.
There's like terrorist jihadi advertisements. We got to take them all down, that guy would say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they took down advertising. They wouldn't allow it up for political figures and Trump during the election in Illinois. I mean, why don't they take it down for the fireworks if it's so terrible?
Absolutely.
They're legal in Indiana. They're legal in Indiana, and there's probably half the United States they're legal in.
Exactly.
But you know what? It's just power, control, money.
Yep, I got to roll. I apologize. Phil, hang on. Then we'll get to you after we talk to Stephen Moore. We have the privilege of talking to Trump economist Stephen Moore. Love that guy. We're going to talk to him about the big, beautiful bill. It will pass now on AM 560. The Answer. Oh, the news. Nikki Whaley, sorry.
Good morning. It's 75 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. President Trump says the U.S. has struck a trade deal with Vietnam.
According to the president, the deal includes a 20% tariff on the Southeast Asian country's imports to the U.S. and will give the U.S. tariff-free access to Vietnam's markets. Vietnam has also agreed that goods would be hit with a 40% tariff rate if they originated in another country and were transferred to Vietnam for final shipment to the United States. The agreement was unveiled less than a week before a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs is set to expire. I'm Mark Mayfield.
The Pentagon says U.S. strikes have knocked Iran's nuclear program back closer to years.
Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell gave the assessment, one that's more optimistic than what UN inspectors have said.
We believe, and certainly all of the intelligence that we've seen have led us to believe that those facilities especially have been completely obliterated.
Last weekend, the International Atomic Energy Agency said Iran could be enriching uranium in a matter of months. The U.S. military has said 3 key nuclear sites were significantly damaged by more than a dozen bunker-busting bombs and Tomahawk missiles. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
News is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Have you been getting high quotes for dental implants? With medical PPO insurance, it's possible to save 90% off on average. See if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com, making smiles great again. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio every Sunday morning at 9. Presented by Lang Home Medical Equipment, Valdecast Windows and Doors, and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about your home improvement. Right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Honey, we're not moving, but we gotta do something about this kitchen.
Funny you mention it. I just stopped by Forever Remodeling's new showroom in Niles. I saw over a dozen kitchen and bathroom layouts they designed. They even offered to stop by the house and give us a free in-home design consultation.
What'd you tell them?
That we're free today?
Visit foreverremodeling.com today. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $257. There are only 2 good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Want to see if you could pay less in taxes? Try the quick and easy tax calculator at willsave.com. Yes, a free tax calculator. That's WILSAVE.com. Calculate how you could keep more of your hard-earned money and give less to Uncle Sam, especially in retirement. Get your free tax analysis today at willsave.com. And don't forget to tune in to Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman every Saturday morning at 8, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
From the Team Hawkberg Traffic Center, I'm Nikki Whaley. On the Edens inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, 15 minutes. Outbound, about 14 minutes. On the Kennedy inbound from Montrose to the Burn Interchange, 21 minutes. Outbound, about 23 minutes. On the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 23 minutes. Outbound, 21 minutes. On the Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive, 26 minutes. Outbound, about 20 minutes. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster started in 2010 in Kyle Cox's garage after he overpaid for new blinds. He researched the industry, hired his mom, and 14 years later, they're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Thunderstorms may bring strong wind gusts in certain spots. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm in spots early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Oh, yeah. AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Kroc filling in for the Morning Answer. Dan's back Monday. Gosh, it's a riot and a thrill to be with you. Hey, we just got the jobs numbers in, but first I want to introduce a gentleman who is no stranger to me, to many of us. I've interviewed him in my show in Dallas, and now I get to talk to him in Chicago. Stephen Moore, economist extraordinaire, Trump advisor, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again, co-authored with Art Laffer. Stephen Moore, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Chris, it's good to be with you. Happy Independence Day. And by the way, don't keep me on pins and needles. What was the job? I was just about to turn the TV on.
Wait a minute. I know more than you. Oh, gosh, let's sit here for a second. Hang on. Okay, hiring. You're going to love this, Steve. Hiring defied, from the Wall Street Journal. Hiring defied expectations in June with 147,000 new jobs. Unemployment rate fell to 4.1 from 4.2, I think, right?
Woo! All right. This economy is cooking right now. Trump's firing on all cylinders. We got to get the tax bill done. We have got to, keep deregulating, keep deporting. These criminal aliens and securing the border. It's really quite amazing. And, I'm a Trump fan. I wrote the book, Trump Economic Miracle, but it is a miracle what he's been doing. I mean, how he has resurrected the economy in just, what's it been, 4 or 5 months? It's really pretty astounding. And, I expected good things, but when you look, even the trade stuff, which, I'm more of a traditional free trade guy. Okay. So I'm not a big fan of tariffs, but I've got to admit, Trump has used the tariffs as a bargaining chip to get these countries to do things that they, should want to do. And so, look, I think the guy is on a roll right now. And I think we're going to see there's a good time to invest in the stock market. It's a good time to invest in America. And we're back, baby.
Yes, we are. It's unbelievable. I got to tell you, Steve, this is a huge week. I mean, the fact that the big beautiful bill will pass, that they have the numbers is in time for the 4th of July is beyond.
I think right now they're 2 votes short in the House. So there's a lot of arm twisting going on right now. But I think they'll get there. I think they'll get there today.
I saw this morning they said they do have the numbers.
Okay. See, you've got the latest news on me because I stayed up till the wee hours of the morning watching the debate, and they were 1 or 2 votes short. So you probably have more recent information than I do.
I'll tell you what it was this morning. Morning I wake up, 3-4 hours ago, and I hear Chad Pergram saying that they flipped 2. So that most likely they promised him something. I mean, this is insane. Yeah. So let me ask you some questions. First of all, AOC, I'm going to use your expertise to disprove this BS. Okay, use your expertise. AOC says the one big beautiful bill will increase taxes on people making under $50,000. True or false, and why? Why not?
It's blatantly false. I can't. Right. I mean, look, I helped write the bill, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. But I don't understand that there's anything in this bill. I believe that is false because as I've looked through the bill, and I've looked through every iteration of it, everyone's taxes are reduced. The only people whose taxes are not reduced are people who live in very, very high tax states like Illinois, where you might lose some of your state and local tax deduction. But those would only be very high income people. And if you're a high income person in Illinois, what the hell are you doing there? Why don't you move to Texas or Florida? Or by the way, as you may or may not know, I'm a Chicago boy. I grew up in Chicago. I practically grew up in Wrigley Field. I love the city of Chicago. I think it's one of the great cities in the world. But it's just a shame. This is what happens when you put progressive people, quote progressives. I'm going to use that in quotations. Right. And you're following what's going on in New York, by the way. This idiot that they're talking about. Putting in the
Mamdani,
in the mayor's office. Oh my God, he's not a socialist. He's a
communist. That's exactly right.
He wants to bring back communes.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And everybody sits on carpets, and we all just sing Kumbaya.
That's exactly right.
Right out of the '60s.
Yep. Exactly right.
By the way, he's not. He may even be a worse if he wins, and I think the people in New York are not that stupid to elect him. But if he wins, because he did win the Democratic primary, but if he wins, he might even be a worse mayor than Brandon Johnson.
I think you're right, and Brandon's sitting at 6 or 7% approval rating. Let me ask you this: here's also the supposedly that the big beautiful bill will have $3.3 trillion deficit over 10 years. But the Wall Street Journal says the CBO score assumes that some of these things will expire when the BBB, the One Big Beautiful Bill, in fact, makes them in perpetuity or extends them. So is that true that there's a deficit with this bill?
Look, first of all, let me just say this, that this is one of the most conservative free market bills I've seen in my almost 40 years in Washington. And that even goes back to the Reagan years. I mean, this bill reduces the average family tax by $2,000. So that's why I don't say AOC saying, oh, this is going to tax people more. No. And by the way, people make like less than $40,000. They don't pay much income tax to begin with. So but second of all, it expands school choice for parents who want to send their kids to private schools. You can get some federal money for doing it. It health savings accounts that allow you to have more control of your health care dollars. Big expansion of that. Remember the Biden student loan forgiveness program, that idiot program? That's gone under this bill. I mean, how much time you got? I could spend a half an hour going through all the virtues of this bill. It reduces, it allows businesses to, if they're going to build a plant or purchase equipment or research and so on, they can write that off, which expands the investment and job opportunities in America. It gives the United States businesses one of the lowest tax rates in the world, which brings a lot of stuff here back in the United States. It reduces the death tax, which I think is one of the most immoral taxes in our tax system. I mean, I could go on and on and on with this bill. Remember the electric vehicle, the electric vehicle mandate that everybody had to buy an electric car? We get rid of that. I mean, gone. Yep. So that's I'm just skimming the surface here of really important things in this bill. I'm sorry. What was your question again?
I have several things on. Several things that I want to hit on with your expertise as an economist and, of course, one of the authors of this bill. What will it do for our economy? I mean, Ronald Reagan did some moves that ended up looking like it could cause a deficit, but it blew up the economy for the better. It blew up in a good way, gangbusters. After that, tell me what this will do in that regard.
Oh, so that was your question about the deficit, and I kind of and the
deficit. Yeah, is it true that it's
before COVID? Okay, I'm going to keep this very simple. Before COVID, we were spending about $4.8 trillion a year, which is too much. Now, today, we're spending over $7 trillion a year. So it is the spending, stupid. If you're worried about the deficit, it's the spending. Federal tax revenues are higher than they've ever been. Did you know that?
I think I read that. I read that the other day. So we're getting gangbusters revenue. Gangbusters revenue, right?
The problem is not revenues; it's that we're spending too much. So, does this cut enough spending? No, I'm going to be honest with you. No, it does not cut enough spending. Right. And we got it. That's why Trump and the Speaker Johnson are saying we'll take a second bite at this apple and put in place some of those reforms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but here's the other thing. If you want to reduce the budget deficit and the debt, and I think everybody who's listening to your radio show is smart enough to know that this is a cancer cell, the amount of debt that we're running. We have to grow the economy. You got to get people working. You got businesses expanding, and then they pay more tax revenues. That's the way. You don't have to raise people's taxes. You just if you work more, you're going to pay more taxes, right? And then you've got to control spending. And this bill, what Trump is doing with DOGE and some of these other things, I think will help bring that down. If we can get the economic growth rate up to 3% per year, which is we should be able to do that, then we're going to see the deficit fall each year. And don't believe these phony baloney numbers from the Congressional Budget Office. They've been wrong every single time they do their predictions. You know, the one thing you can count on by the Congressional Budget Office is they're always wrong. Not even unlike a clock, a broken clock is right twice a day. They're not even right twice a day. So,
Stephen Moore, I got another question for you.
Yeah,
a couple of people have been calling, and that tells me a lot of people think that this $12,500 with no taxes on tips, but only for the first $12,500 is not enough. I was just guesstimating. I'm just making up a number because you don't know people's tax brackets. But, I mean, how much money, if you were to guess on average, there's no way of knowing somebody's taxes individually, but how much out of the $12,500 do you think people will get back in their pocket that won't be taxed? Like $2,000-3,000 maybe?
Yeah.
If you had to guess?
And listen, this is one that's important to me because when my first job, one of the first jobs I ever had when I was, I think, 17 years old was I don't even know if they have these anymore in Chicago, an Andy Frayne usher. These are the people who would, show you to your seat at the movie theaters, or if you went to a Cubs game, we'd take your tickets. And one of the things we did was we would do, we were valets. So if you went to a big hotsy-totsy party, we'd park your Maserati or your Rolls Royce or whatever it was. And you know how we made our money was tips.
Tips, right.
And so back then, this was the late 70s, if somebody gave you $1, that was a big deal. And if somebody gave you $5, boy, it felt like, but sometimes, we'd come home, $35 cash in our pocket. Do you think we paid taxes on that?
No. Absolutely not.
Don't tell the IRS. I hope they're not listening. They might look up my records from 35 years ago.
What do you say to people who say that's not enough, that's nothing? I'd rather have much more on the $12,500.
If you're working the kind of job and you get to keep an extra $50 or something, that's a big deal.
Right.
Come on, this is a big deal. That's why I like this idea. And by the way, that's the thing about a tipped economy. When you're doing a job where you get most of your money from tips, you do a better job than if you're just on an hour salary. Right? Because you get paid for performance.
Right.
We used to clean people's cars. We used to give them the best service. Oh, sir, be so nice to people because that's the way you got the tips. So, by the way, the left hates tips. They want to get rid of the tip economy because everybody's the same. That's
they want
the way they viewed it.
$21 million per hour, artificially inflated wage that has no basis. Let me ask you this, too. We can, with this new One Big Beautiful bill that will be passing within about 24 hours from when I read, workers can deduct up to $25,000 worth of tips. So that's good. It is a lot. Now, what about the other thing is, too, the tax cuts? Aren't they now permanent? The 2017 tax cuts, aren't they now codified permanently, if I'm not mistaken, once this passes?
Not all of them, but most of them are. Look, this is what I want to explain to people. The most important, because the media coverage of this has been so corrupt and misleading. So this really isn't the giant tax cut bill. What it does is it basically avoids the biggest tax increase in American history. And this is something polls show that only half of Americans even are aware of this, that if we don't pass this bill, and if Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi and, the people who run the Democrats in the Senate, if they get their way and they block this bill, everybody's taxes are going to go up by $2,500 or $3,000 next year. That would kill the economy, kill it. So what the main thing this does is, avoids this giant tax increase next year. Here's the thing that perplexes me, and I'm not a rah-rah Republican. I'm not one of these, Republicans are so great. I think that talks on both their parties. But every single Democrat in the House and in the Senate, every single one, including all the Democrats in Illinois that you send to Washington, every one of them voted for a $4 trillion tax increase.
Right. Stephen Moore, wanted to ask you this, too, a couple things. Okay, so business investment plans, now they can go nuts because they know it's not possible. It's actually going to happen, which means they're going to reinvest in their companies. I want you to add to that, and then I want to hit Medicaid with the lie that we're cutting people off Medicaid. So first hit on the business investment encouragement now that they have a plan going ahead. This is going to pass. Tell me about that.
Well, the first meeting that Larry Kudlow and I ever had with Donald Trump was some of your listeners have heard this story before, but Larry and I met with Donald Trump in January of 2016 when he was first running for president in his office there on Fifth Avenue in Trump Tower in New York, in Manhattan, and spent about an hour and a half with him. And we really just, pad of paper and we scrawled out a plan, and that plan is kind of continued to today. And the idea was that we would reduce our corporate taxes, not because we love corporations, but because our corporate taxes were about twice as high as all the other countries. And Trump, we showed him this, and he's like, this is insane. It's like we're putting a tariff on our own goods and services. We're like, yes, Mr. President, that's right. Well, we called him Donald back then. Right. And so here we are, 9 years later, and now we're going to make sure that the United States, instead of having the highest corporate tax rate in the world, which was chasing jobs out of the United States, we're going to have one of the lowest. So what do you think that's going to do? That's going to bring jobs, factories, businesses, research, facilities back into the United States. I mean, it's so simple. How can Democrats not understand that? If you lower your tax rates, you're going to bring stuff in. That's why Chicago and California and New York and New Jersey are losing so many votes. You know this because I know you've lived in Texas. Texas is a boom state right now. Florida's a boom state. Why? They don't have an income tax.
Well, look at this. The Dallas Morning News reported about a year or so ago that the city of Dallas the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area will overtake the population of the Chicago metropolitan area within 20 years. No questions asked.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because you've got Dallas. We added
1 million people in the last 10 years. 1 million. Yeah. What has Chicagoland got? It's a major city. Yeah. It's hard. My theory on that has always been it's such a large city that even though people are fleeing, people still procreate, and since it's such a big city, it still maintains for the most part because it's such a big city. But yeah, it's a big difference. Now let me ask you this, and that's the difference between freedom, economic freedom, lower regulation, as you know, friendly business environment, etc. Yeah. But the last thing I want to ask you about, brother, is Medicaid. All the left is saying we're gonna slash Medicaid. I'm seeing from the Wall Street Journal 7.8 million that 4.8 million are bums. They don't work or volunteer. Yeah. I'm seeing that 1.4 million are illegals and 1.6 million have other access to other care, such as Obamacare. Tell me this, though. Opine on all those, or don't opine. Tell me the facts on all those. But the other thing is, are we still getting the 1.4 million illegals? I thought I heard that's not going to happen. Talk to me.
So they keep changing, what's in and what's out of the bill. So I don't know definitively because they add things and they take things out at the last minute. But I want to make sure people understand this. The government's own auditors, I'm not talking about what Elon Musk did. I'm not talking about a study that we did on Lush Prosperity. I'm talking about the federal government's own own auditors, okay?
Yes.
They told us last year that their estimate is that $150 billion, not $150 million, $150 billion a year. That's larger than virtually the entire Chicago budget. $150 billion is stolen by fraudsters from the program. And those are illegal immigrants. They're people not eligible for the program. The people who are able-bodied and could and should be working and are supposed to be working.
Or double billing in 2 states for the same person.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Exactly. You know, the hospitals rip off the program. The doctors rip off the program. $150 billion, and no one does a damn thing about it. They, oh, that's just like the cost of doing business. What private business could stay in business with $150 billion a year of fraud? So we're going to get people who are fraudulently collecting these benefits, we're going to get them off the program. I think that's something that just about – and I was on CNN the other night. Oh, my gosh, all these illegal immigrants are going to lose their health care benefits. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you saying – you think that the 8 million illegal immigrants should be getting free health care paid by the taxpayer? If you believe that, why don't you bring up a bill on the House and Senate floor? Let's vote on that, Let's vote on it. Because I don't think and by the way, I'm very pro-immigrant. I think immigrants are great for our country. But you can't have 8 million illegal immigrants coming to this country and getting all this free stuff.
Stephen Moore, by the way, economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity, again co-authored with Art Laffer. I did not know you're a Chicago boy. Were you born in the city? Do you know what hospital you were born at in the city?
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen?
What hospital were you born at?
You're not going to believe this. This is going to happen. The Chicago White Sox are going to win the World Series.
Sox suck.
They got God
on
their side right now.
No, I disagree. I hate the Sox. Screw them. Cubs all the way. What hospital you were born at in the city? I got to let you go. What hospital? Do you remember what hospital you were born at?
Yes, I do. You want to guess?
Yeah. Well, I'll start first. I was born at Belmont Community Hospital, which doesn't exist anymore. How about you?
I was born in Evanston Hospital on February 16th, 1960, and that was the day that was a day in history because I'll give you a free autographed copy of my book if you can tell me who won a gold medal in the Winter 1960 Olympics the day I was born.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's my answer, yes. I don't know.
Okay. I bet a lot of your listeners probably know the answer to this. I'll give her initials, PF.
Drawing a blank. Okay. I was born in 73, so I'm out of that loop there.
This was before your time. Peggy Fleming.
Oh, I know Peggy Fleming, ice skater. There we go.
My mom was like, yeah, I was giving birth to you, and I'm watching TV, and I'm seeing Peggy Fleming.
That's why you're such an artist, Steve. You're an artist.
There you go.
You were in utero. You were watching the artistry of Peggy Fleming. Great talking to you, my friend. Can't wait till the next time, okay?
Happy 4th of July.
You too, sir.
Everybody, all my friends in Chicago. Bye.
Amen. All right, coming up next, we're going to tell you about the war of fireworks. Some are vilifying them. Some are celebrating them. Which side are you on? You got to hear this guy that called in a little earlier and yelled at me as a fireworks dude who does all the big fireworks in the city of Chicago, supposedly, and you have to hear this. All that's coming up next on AM 560. The Answer. It's Chris Crock filling in. Dan's back Monday.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Barbecue, bags, and brews on the driveway sounds great about now, but are you ready to entertain on that dirty, oil-stained area you call your backyard? Why bother putting up the party lights in the garage when it'll only highlight the oil spills and stains on the concrete? No oil stain removal is too big or too small for Cabino Environmental. Homeowners and business owners can use the Cabino Oil Stain Remover. It's the most powerful oil stain lifting formula on the market. This is not the same stuff you think you can buy at the big box store. This is a concentrated stain lifter that goes deep into the concrete or brick for superior cleaning. You simply pour it onto the soiled area, let dry, and brush away. It really is that simple. If you need an expert that can come in and clean up the spill, click on CabinoEnvironmental.com. Their environmental response team will come to the rescue. For stains on your residential garage floor, patio, around the barbecue, parking lot, or driveways, go to CabinoEnvironmental.com to purchase the Cabino Oil Stain Remover. Can't wait? Cabino Oil Stain Remover is now available at your local Rental Max.
Is cremation an option you're considering for you or your loved one? At Catholic Cemeteries, we offer sacred, permanent places of rest where loved ones can be remembered, prayed for, and visited for generations. Too often, cremated remains are brought home, only to end up in closets, basements, or forgotten on shelves. Memorialization is forever. Honor their life. Preserve your legacy. Visit us today at CatholicCemeteryChicago.org to schedule a free consultation or call 708-236-5490.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we're going to squeeze the fireworks thing a little later because right now I want to say this. Coming up next, we do have an expert and a great opiner on Israel and Iran and the nuclear program and anti-Semitism in this country. There is so much stuff that's flying out in the past 24, 48 hours, in addition to the communist, Democrat, socialist, anti-Semite Mandami in New York City, who could become the next New York mayor. We're going to talk about all that coming up next with Joel Griffith. This is Chris Kroc, and I'm filling in for the, of course, Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter feed, Facebook, etc., at Chris Kroc Show. That's at Chris Kroc Show, CHRISKR, okay? I drop a daily podcast on there. Also on the other ones like Rumble, you name it. It's at Kroc Talk Radio, at Kroc Talk Radio. So Chris Kroc Show, at Chris Kroc Show, or at Kroc Talk Radio. KROK is how you spell that name. It's a good Polish name, not shortened. Kroc, it means a pace or a step in Polish. Jeżdża Polski, jeżdża nała. That's some Polish for you. Chris Kroc on The Answer.
One big, powerful objection. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, to President Trump's one big, beautiful bill.
The American people are forced to confront a bill that targets their health care.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has ranted on the House floor for 4 hours, delaying the final vote this morning as Democrats claim spending cuts to Medicaid and other programs and new work requirements for some recipients will take health coverage and food assistance away from millions of Americans.
And it's all designed to put a happy smile on the face of billionaires. That is inconsistent with the Declaration of Independence and what we should be celebrating on July 4th.
But Republican Congresswoman Lisa McClain tells Fox Business
Hakeem Jeffries is gaslighting the American people again.
The bill prevents a tax hike looming next year.
This will extend the tax cuts first imposed by President Trump back in 2017 for Americans as well as businesses. We also know that this would get rid of taxes on tips, Social Security, overtime. So this is something that the president campaigned hard on. House Republicans, Senate Republicans jumping on board with that idea.
That's Fox's Mark Meredith at the Capitol. We just got a big update to the economy, showing a slight increase in hiring last month from May, which was not expected.
147,000 jobs on non-farm. That is well above the estimates of 110,000. The unemployment rate went down to 4.1%.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni says that was also not expected, going down slightly from May when economists expected an increased rate in June. 4 people are dead in Chicago, 14 wounded after a shooting late last night outside a nightclub hosting a rapper's album release party.
Police tell us a dark-colored vehicle drove past the location. Someone pulled out a gun and started shooting at a large crowd that was standing outside. Many people seen running for cover. Now, it is unknown if there were multiple shooters. We do know the sidewalk remains littered with blood, shoes, and clothing.
Nate Rogers with Fox 32 TV in Chicago. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 79 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer Newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. The family of fallen Chicago police officer Crystal Rivera are demanding answers. Her mother called for an independent investigation by the Illinois State Police into her death.
And as her mother, I'm asking for complete transparency. I need to understand what happened that night. I need to know the truth.
Family members also want to see cell phone records and body-worn camera footage that captured the deadly June 5th shooting. Chicago police say that she died when she was accidentally shot by another officer in the Chatham neighborhood. 2 men have been charged in connection with the shooting. Some aldermen are looking for answers from Chicago police on how officers responded to a recent ICE raid in the city's South Loop last month, Perry Williams reports.
Glenn Brooks from CPD testified at a committee hearing that officers did not assist federal agents.
We then moved outside of the facility and we provided public safety traffic control to ensure that people were not going to be run over.
The committee did pass an order yesterday that requires police brass and the mayor's office to turn over all communications related to the police presence during the operation in question last month, including body cam video.
News is a service of Air Right Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off of any service, including inspections. Don't wait for a heat wave for that old air conditioner to break down. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes, but now time for the Signature Bank Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street will be reacting today to the Labor Department's June employment report. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent tells FBN's Maria Bartiromo, with the tariff pause expiring July 9th, President Trump will decide how to proceed. Bessent anticipates a flurry of deals in coming days. CEOs have started revealing how artificial intelligence could impact the job market. The Wall Street Journal says the cuts could be deep. Ford Chief Executive Jim Farley said in an interview that AI could literally replace half of all white-collar workers in the U.S. Discount fashion chain Shein is facing pushback from regulators in France. It's accused of deceptive business practices, including misleading discounts. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John this Saturday afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right this Saturday afternoon at 4 right here on AM 560. The Answer.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HIM to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text HIM to 321-321. That's HIM to 321-321.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Robert Anderson, president of McLaughlin Body Company in the Quad Cities, and a customer of Signature Bank. When our 100-year-old family-owned manufacturing company was looking for a new bank, we found an excellent partner with Signature Bank. Signature Bank understands the challenges with manufacturing in today's highly competitive environment. We recently participated in a new markets tax credit program, and we're fortunate to have the experts at Signature Bank help us navigate the complexities of this program. With Signature Bank's support, we were able to expand not only our facility, but ultimately our business. If you're looking for a trusted banking partner for your business, look to Chicago's own Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
From the Team Hawkford Traffic Center, I'm Nikki Whaley. On the Edens inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, about 15 minutes. Outbound, about 15 minutes. On the Kennedy inbound from Montrose to the Burn interchange, about 27 minutes. Outbound, about 32 minutes. On the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 26 minutes. Outbound, about 19 minutes. On the Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive, 26 minutes. Outbound is about 26 minutes. Traffic is a service of Salem Surround, providing your business with industry-leading digital marketing strategies designed to surround your target audience and drive action. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now I check your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Be aware that these storms could bring strong wind gusts. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm possible early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer. Chris Crock filling in for Chicago's Morning Answer. Dan back on Monday. 312-642-5600 is our number. Joel Griffith, policy advisor at Advancing American Freedom. I want to talk to Joel about several things, particularly anti-Semitism, Israel, and Gaza and Iran. Joel, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, and thanks for having me this morning.
Very welcome, and thank you for coming on with us. You know, one of the things you tweeted about recently was appalling display of anti-Semitism at Glastonbury, where this Bob Dylan, which ironically Bob Dylan is a Jew and supports Israel, but Bob Dylan, quote unquote, those guys said horrific things. Free Palestine from the river to the sea, which means kill every Jew in Israel, and Shalal, the stuff. But what did you see that day when you saw the Glastonbury when that happened? What did you see? What did you kind of take away?
Well, it was even worse than that. And you're exactly right with the river to the sea. That is calling for Jews to be expelled or even killed if they're living in their promised land between the Mediterranean and the Jordan River. But it went even further than that at that music festival. That supposed entertainer was leading thousands of people in the chant of death to the IDF. That's the Israeli Defense Forces. And to think that you've had these, most of them, young men and women in the IDF that have for years, and especially the past 2 years, been putting their lives on the line to keep their family and friends safe, to rescue the hostages that have been now being put in these death trap tunnels for 2 years in Gaza, to be calling for their death is just reprehensible. And to see the crowd joining in,
it was unbelievable.
Thousands of people was just chilling.
Terrifying, yeah. And you have to serve if you're in Israel, I believe. So, like, every Israeli, I believe, has to serve in the IDF. So basically saying kill everybody that is in the IDF and probably kill everybody that is was with the IDF, I'm guessing. It's just disgusting. I want to ask you this about Zorhan. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just to your point about the IDF, nearly all Israelis serve, both men and women, and not just the Jewish population. There are close to 10% of the IDF are Arab Israelis as well. And you don't just serve for 2 years. After you do your service, you're in the reserves for decades. So you have too, not just people right out of high school. You've got men and women that are leaving their families as grown adults in their 30s and 40s and 50s that have been fighting this war as well. So you're right. It's when you chant death to the IDF, you're talking about the vast majority of Israelis that are part of the IDF.
Which cyclically goes back from the river to the sea, which means kill all the Jews. That's what I read. Islamism and socialism, which really ultimately is communism, have combined. You look at Columbia, you look at Harvard University, and then you look at Zorhan Mamdani and his not socialism, his communism. These two, Islamism and socialism, have come together now. Have they not?
Yes, and what they have in common is a shared disdain for the values that our country is built on, whether it's freedom of conscience or the free markets, the Western values that have shaped us and shaped societies across the West for more than 2,000 years. This predates Christianity. We're talking about going back to Rome, Athens, Jerusalem, the values that we are built on as a society. They are opposed to that. And so they'll unite, even though Islamism, radicalized Islam, and socialism and communism seem like they wouldn't have so much in common. They actually do have in common for now a shared disdain for this country. And I wrote about this the other day when we talk about the threat of Iran. Yes, there's a very real military threat. They've killed hundreds of Americans dating back more than 40 years now. I used to work at a law firm on behalf of victims of terror when I was an attorney.
Wow.
We were still helping widows of U.S. service members that were slaughtered by Iran's Hezbollah in Lebanon in the early 1980s. I was just about one year old at the time. We were still taking phone calls from the widows that we were trying to help secure funds after their husbands were killed. So this goes back a long time, but it's not just the military threat. You have Qatar, which is an ally of Iran, and that has also financed Hezbollah. They're not just financing military weaponry. You have Qatar that is spending billions of dollars funneling it to the United States, into universities, into organizations that are trying to indoctrinate American college students to despise their own country.
That's exactly
and universities have been accepting these dollars with open arms to fund professorships and departments, all of which goes to indoctrinate our future leaders.
Which, by the way, there's two things I wanted to hit quickly on this. Columbia University, we see that the now president said when she was on the board, sent a internal texts or emails saying we got to get rid of this Jewish lady on the board and we got to put in an Arab. This is right after October 7th, the terrorist attack on Israel, the largest death and slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust in one day. And so now Elise Stefanik is saying resign, and I agree. And then you look at Harvard, and Trump is going to bring them to heel like a dog because they just don't want to turn from their decades of vile anti-Semitism there. So death by 1,000 cuts, and they're going to lose $1 billion. Wall Street Journal writing about this in their analysis. This will cripple them and bring them to heel or ruin them ultimately. But the two things I want you to tell me about with Harvard and Columbia and on that and your thoughts. And do you think that the president of Columbia should resign?
I do. I think the president of Columbia should resign, and even more than that, I think she should be fired. Resignation is far too dignified for somebody acting in such a reprehensible manner. When it comes to the funding of the government funding of Columbia University and Harvard, this is really a civil rights issue. we have a Civil Rights Act that ensures that if you're a university receiving government aid or using the student loan system, that you will respect the civil rights of all students, regardless of their race, their gender, their national origin. But the one group that is allowed to be targeted with criminal activity is the Jewish student body.
Yes.
Now, we're not talking about free speech issues. You have a right to engage in odious speech and hate speech. Hate speech is protected speech as well. You have a right to do that. But what you don't have a right to do is act criminally, with vandalizing, with trapping Jewish students in libraries, with trespassing by setting up tent encampment, by physically accosting students, by interrupting lectures and events. You see this happening on a weekly basis at these universities. It's criminal behavior. That is not speech activity. And when you allow that to happen and to target students based on being Jewish, or if this are happening based on targeting students for being white or black, what have you, that's criminal activity. It's infringing on the civil rights by allowing that criminal activity to continue. And the only group that universities allowed to be targeted with that criminal behavior happen to be Jewish students. So these universities are in violation of the Civil Rights Act. If they want to continue to allow that criminal behavior to continue, then they are going to lose their access to federal funding. And second of all, something I really want to commend the Trump administration on is something that I wrote about and numerous other people did during the Biden administration. When you have students that are here on foreign visas,
right,
they don't have the same broad rights to engage in behavior as American citizens do. You don't have a right to espouse support for terrorist activity. That doesn't just mean engaging in an activity yourself or financing it. You don't have the right to be expressing support for that. So when you've got these foreign students that are organizing these protests and these rallies and engaging in this behavior, you lose your right to be here. And the Trump administration is doing the right thing by moving forward on expelling those types of students from this nation. They should not be here.
Joel Griffith, policy advisor at Advancing American Freedom. I want to thank you for your time and thank you for staying in the fight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and have a wonderful Independence Day.
You too, brother. All right, there he goes. I wanted to get right back into this. We have the it's a twofold thing that happened. Aurora Mayor John Lash under fire, ABC 7 says, after a social media post seeming to encourage residents to set off fireworks in the city. And we have this whole, I've been playing the sound bites and the story from ABC 7. You've got the retired police commander, and you've got one of the aldermen there in Aurora. And they're outraged that the mayor, while he's passing out leaflets and saying, fireworks are illegal to shoot off in Aurora, let alone Illinois. But then he put on social media, hey, if you are going to shoot off fireworks, shoot away from the city, which I think is hysterical. I love this guy. I'd vote for him. If I'm a Democrat, I'd vote for him twice, including with my passed away grandmother and my dog. He's the guy's hysterical. And then you got this retired police commander and this alderman, how dare you? How dare, this is hard. Get out of here. You guys are shooting off fireworks in your backyard. And if you're not, your neighbors are. Get out of here. You're going to have a raid on people. And then we had this story from Fox 32 yesterday, the next day. So ABC 7 saying how horrible it is. Don't shoot off fireworks. ABC 7 wasn't, but the people in Aurora that don't like the mayor apparently were doing that. And then you got Fox 32 featuring all these people that are going to Indiana buying fireworks. They tell you the name of the place. They tell you the city. They even tell you the hours of when to go buy the fireworks.
Crazy Kaplan's is still open right now. They'll be back open at 8 tomorrow morning, probably not closing until midnight tomorrow.
So you got one station with people outraged that the mayor's saying just shoot the fireworks away from the city. Another station telling you where to go to buy them in Indiana. And there's a whole bunch of people they interviewed that are laughing, having fun, saying, yeah, we're bringing them back to Chicago or to Aurora or whatever. So I was going nuts on this, mocking the fact that these fools in Aurora are attacking the mayor. And then how next day you got the other news channel saying, which I have no problem with, go buy them here if you want. Here's people having fun, because that's what we all do. Safety, but we all do. Then this guy calls in. This is about an hour and a half ago. This guy calls in and says, I do the fireworks for the White Sox park. I do for the scoreboards, for this, for that. You don't know what you're talking about. Did you not hear about the guy in Crystal Lake who got his face blown off for the kid? Things happen. Things are bad. Happens with cars, too. But, dude, we shoot fireworks off. Doesn't matter whether you're in the nicest neighborhood of the city of Chicago, the worst one, if you're in Aurora, Glenview, whatever, Berwyn. People do this. I did it as a kid in Chicagoland. My parents did. So this guy calls up and says, how dare you? He was angry, and you should be encouraging people. Let's play what he said there. Oh, actually, I got it right here. Let me play what he said. This is so over the top, ridiculous. He called in and went nuts. Here we go.
This is the kind of stuff that people get reckless on 4th of July. They get crazy, okay? And they lose. They don't know how bad these things are. Even little sparklers. The heat that those things generate are unbelievable. I mean, it's unreal. So to make fun of this, to make a joke of it, I've seen people get hurt and get killed in this business, okay? And to give fireworks to people that are unprofessional and don't know what the hell they're doing, I mean, that's just toxic. You can't be serious. You can't be serious, Chris. We've done Navy Pier, okay? And we've done Sox Park. We do exploding scoreboards. So we know what we're doing. We're talking how bad these things really are. And you're making a joke out of it. You have young kids, Chris?
Wait, hold on. Am I going to talk, or are you just going to keep,
No, well, I'm the one that called in. I took the time to call into your show. I don't even know who you are, okay?
This is not the Mike Show. Relax.
No, okay, it's the Chris Rock Show. I've never heard of you before.
Okay. I've not heard of you either, Mike, but I'm still going to respect you. Hey, whoa.
You know my business if I tell you who it is.
I had to tell him pull him on because he went on and on for minutes. So he doesn't even want your kid having a sparkler. How do you feel about this? Do you do fireworks? Should we not be allowed to have fireworks, basic ones? Black Cat, fireworks, bottle rockets, sparklers, and snakes for the kids. Are you kidding me? This guy says, I'm a professional. You can. Sounds like a good liberal, right? We can have guns to protect us, but you can't have your own gun. All right, you tell me. Do you want to prosecute people like you and me who have fireworks? Will you turn your neighbor in? Is this guy right? After all, he does the Sox Park. What do I know? He's the expert. We'll take your call, rack 'em and stack 'em. Coming up next, I want your calls. Chime in right now, 312-642-5600. Mark on the text line says, sounds like a guy whose wife made him talk to the manager. There you go. Appreciate you. All right, coming up next, we're gonna take some of your calls, and then at 8:30, we are going to talk to James Perry about the jobs numbers that look gangbusters today, which is awesome. All that's coming up next. This is Chris Kroc filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
People ask us all the time, when's the best time to replace an old air conditioner? Simple. Before it breaks. Because when it does, you know it'll be the hottest day of the year, and suddenly you're scrambling like hundreds of others to get help during a heat wave. At Air Right Heating and Cooling, we've seen it all. We know there's never a good time to be without AC, especially in Chicagoland, where the humidity can make 80 degrees feel like 100. At Air Right, our experienced technicians don't just work fast, they'll do it right. Browse through our more than 1,500 five-star Google reviews to see what our loyal customers love most about us. If it's been a while since your system was inspected, don't wait for a heat wave before having it checked out. And right now, AM 560 listeners receive $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. The nation goes into this 4th of July holiday weekend at a pivotal period of our nation's history. Next year we'll be marking 250 years of independence, our semi-quincentennial. Quite an achievement and a word, quite an experiment in democracy it has been. As we mark this day, I don't need to remind you, but it still bears stating. Our nation is deeply divided, often bitterly so, and with a number of examples we could point to, sometimes violently divided. And yet I still resonate with the words of Abraham Lincoln, spoken a month before he issued the Emancipation Proclamation. The occasion is piled high with difficulties, and we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country. We shall nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope of earth. I still believe it. Have a great 4th of July, and may God bless America, the last best hope.
Is it time to get your children and grandchildren out of the godless government schools? You cannot allow your loved ones to be forcibly subjected to ungodly psychological examinations and perverse sexual teachings. You would not send your child to a school that teaches 2 + 2 is 5. What is being taught today is far worse and damaging to minds and hearts. We can help through our on-campus Christian school and homeschool program. For over 55 years, Christian Liberty has operated a Christian school now located in Arlington Heights, and we have served hundreds of thousands of families across our nation and foreign countries through our homeschool program, Christian Liberty Homeschools. Visit ChristianLiberty.com to learn more or to schedule a tour of our excellent 12-acre facility in Arlington Heights and learn about our educational programs. Take action today. Visit ChristianLiberty.com. Experience the best in our on-campus Christian school and homeschool program, and get more information at ChristianLiberty.com.
This is a special alert during this window replacement season. Don't get tricked by the cheapest offers and gimmicky ads. Now's the time to see and feel the difference of high-performance windows from Valdecas.
When it's time to consider new windows, siding, and doors for your home, you need to look no further. Sebastian Gorka here to tell you about Valdecas. Valdecas has been the trusted name chosen by thousands of homeowners, and they should be your number one choice too. But what's really behind the name Valdecas? Over 25 years of a team dedicated to providing you with the best customer service experience and products that truly bring value to your home. They are a Pella Platinum Elite Status certified contractor for a reason. They have an A+ rating with the BBB, as well as high ratings and positive reviews on both Google and Houzz. Schedule your free in-house consultation at Valdecas.com.
Ask about their exclusive manufacturer warranties and their 10-year workmanship guarantee.
Don't wait. Book today at Valdecas.com. For the best in class, it's Valdecas.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah. AM 560, The Answer. Chris Crock filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer. Right to your calls on the fireworks. Let's go to Jan in Elmhurst. You are on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, just wanted to point out that a lot of people have been pushing for condoms for high schoolers, even though they tell them, oh, you shouldn't really be having sex, but here, have a condom and do it safely. And the same with addicts. Lots of cities provide needles or safe shooting up places for these addicts instead of just saying, you better not do it at all. And, they're just big-time hypocrites.
You saying the same thing about people with the fireworks, you mean?
Yes.
The ones telling us we can't do it?
Yeah, one side you say you shouldn't do it, but then here, do it safely.
Yeah, and I say, let's do it, let's have fun. And that guy was a holier-than-thou bleepity bleep. All right, let's go to Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin, where Lake Lawn lodges. I love going there. Hey, Chuck.
How you doing? I just wanted to tell everybody that if you went to Sharon, tomorrow there is a big parade, 11 o'clock. And then Lake Como, there's a huge parade on Saturday at 11 o'clock. And from what I understand, Santa Claus is going to be at that parade.
Are we allowed to blow off fireworks, or are we not trusted, like that one guy says?
Off fireworks anywhere. They were setting them off last night here where I live in Delavan. So,
amen. Thank you for your great call. Let's pop on Joanne real fast. Joanne, go.
Well, the thing is, I have to say is that I'm tired of these irresponsible people with fireworks because they don't care where they're blowing them off. They don't care what they're doing. They do it all day and all night, and this holiday weekend is going to be a 5-day ordeal. And
do you agree?
They don't clean up after themselves.
You're right. I got to go, but do you agree with that guy that we shouldn't be allowed to have fireworks?
I think we should not do it.
All right. Dang you. Philip and Fran, you stand by. Coming up next, we're going to talk to James Perry on the jobs number that just came out, but we'll take your calls on the fireworks right after that. Stand by. It's Chris Crock filling in on Chicago's Morning Answer. Let's go to the news with Nikki Whaley.
Good morning. It's 79 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer Newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. O'Hare and Midway airports are poised for a busy 4th of July holiday travel. Chicago's airports expect 1.86 million travelers between yesterday and next Monday based on projections from airline carriers. O'Hare is expected to welcome around 1.45 million passengers over the 6-day period. That would be an 11% increase compared to last 4th of July weekend and a 9.2% increase over 2019, the airport's busiest year on record. Changes are coming to the ongoing rehabilitation of the Kennedy Expressway. IDOT says a stage change is scheduled to take place over 2 consecutive nights beginning Monday. The outbound Kennedy will be gradually reduced to 1 lane from Washington Boulevard to Addison Street, with intermittent ramp closures taking place between Washington and Addison Street. At midnight, the reversible express lane will close. By 5 a.m. each morning, lanes and ramps that were temporarily closed will reopen. The work's expected to be completed by next Wednesday morning. News is a service of Anthony DeGrotto State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, working to provide service and expertise when it comes to combining your home, auto, and life insurance. DeGrottoSF.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio every Sunday morning at 9. Presented by Lang Home Medical Equipment, Valdecast Windows and Doors, and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about your home improvement. Right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I am so excited to tell you about Level 10 Coatings. I was so tired of looking at that old, dirty, cracked garage floor, so I contacted Level 10 Coatings to get a clean, gleaming, stain-resistant entry to the home. Level 10 Coatings is Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana's premier concrete floor coating company with over 600 5-star Google reviews. Level 10 Coatings will give you a new, refreshed, decorative garage floor. They do it in 1 day. It's tough, resilient, clean, and a beautiful finish, and it's easy to maintain. And they also do basement floors, pool decks, and patios too. Schedule a free consultation today and take advantage of their summer special. Get $500 off when you mention me, Amy Jacobson. Call now 855-510-2628 or visit level10coatings.com.
Big or small, we coat them all. Level 10 Coatings, your custom concrete coating solution.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
Want to see if you could pay less in taxes? Try the quick and easy tax calculator at willsave.com. Yes, a free tax calculator. That's WILSAVE.com. Calculate how you could keep more of your hard-earned money and give less to Uncle Sam, especially in retirement. Get your free tax analysis today at willsave.com. And don't forget to tune in to Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman every Saturday morning at 8, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Team Hawker Traffic Center, I'm Nikki Whaley. On the Edens inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, 15 minutes. Outbound, about 14 minutes. On the Kennedy inbound from Montrose to the Byrne Interchange, 26 minutes. Outbound is going to be about 25 minutes. On the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office, 24 minutes. Outbound is 18 minutes. On the Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive, 26 minutes. Outbound is about 21 minutes. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster started in 2010 in Kyle Cox's garage after he overpaid for new blinds. He researched the industry, hired his mom, and 14 years later, they're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a quick check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Thunderstorms may bring strong wind gusts in certain spots. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm in spots early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Oh, yeah. Woo! AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Kroc filling in. Dan's back on Monday. 312-642-5600. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, at Chris Kroc Show. That's at Chris Kroc Show, ChrisKrok. James E. Perry, founder and CIO of Perry International Capital Partners, LLC. Jobs report. James, we did it. Another, I don't know if you say blockbuster, it's up to you, but great jobs report. Talk to me. What do you make of this? 147,000 jobs.
A pleasure to get to speak with you today in Dan's absence.
Yes.
I'm on for the non-farm payroll number pretty much every Friday of the month, Thursday this month. And I guess the main thing I think about when these data come out is that, if you want to understand the market, you got to understand the economy. And if you want to understand the economy, you've got to understand the employment report. The labor market's the biggest part of the economy. And the problem with that is that the Commerce Department collects all the data, and they're not very good at it, right? They don't really. There's 160 million people working in this country. The labor force has never been larger, right? Never been larger. And that's official, right? So unofficially, it's probably something like 20 million more. So if the government doesn't really know how many people are working, they don't know how many people really get new jobs, right? So the first thing is, there's a big sort of asterisk with these numbers every month, and it gets a tremendous amount of attention, largely because it's the first data point for the month of June, right? So it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the month, right? So we take it for a grain of salt. They get revised 3 times, but 147,000 jobs is better than what the poll of Bloomberg does on its expected sort of economists, which is never a very good indication. But the point is, the labor market in the States, Chris, is really pretty strong, and it has been since the pandemic lows. I mean, the labor market truly has never been larger, and wage gains, especially sort of non-college graduates, wage gains are running at sort of, according to the Atlanta Fed, 4.3%, which is, just about as strong as we've seen it really in the last sort of 20 years. So the labor market is strong. The employment market is strong. Consumer spending, which kind of is about 3/4 of GDP, is growing at about 5%. So the economy is in pretty good shape, and this market this data today kind of underscores that point.
Powell, the Fed chair, he says inflation is still too high, and he is not ruling out either raising or holding the interest rates. What do you think about that?
Powell is a very smart guy. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a thoughtful guy. The problem is he's a political guy, right? I mean, if you remember the COVID inflation surge that we got in sort of 2020, 21, Powell was up for re-election, and he chose not to raise interest rates until he got reelected, right? So anybody that says he's not political isn't really looking at the facts. Now, maybe everybody in government has to be because they like their jobs and they like the power. But I think Trump is pushing Trump to cut rates because it would suit his economic agenda. But as a data-driven kind of forecaster and strategist and portfolio manager, the fact is that, the economy doesn't really need more stimulus, right? The bond market is trading, 2-year Treasury notes are well under 4% already. So the market is telling you that inflation expectations are going down. The biggest problem with that is that the inflation rates that we've gotten since the pandemic, right? So 2019 to now, aggregate inflation for the average sort of small business and household, on average, prices are up at least 25% across the board. So households and small businesses are getting creamed by aggregate price increases over the last 4 years. And the banking system and leverage speculators and leverage real estate guys all want cheaper money so they can make more money. But the bottom line is there's too much stimulus in the economy, right? I mean, you can't spend money that you create out of thin air without having inflation. So aggregate inflation prices are really quite elevated still. And this is why you had a change in the administration. People are just fed up with prices. So I think the Fed doesn't need to cut. They won't cut this year, I don't think, mainly because there's so much stimulus in the system already.
James L. Perry, founder, CIO, Perry International Capital Partners, LLC. Thank you very, very much for your time today, sir.
Thanks, Chris. See you later. Have a good weekend. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th. Speaking of 4th, this war of words that got, I first told you about a story from ABC7 in Aurora. A retired, these two guys are turds, quite frankly. Retired Aurora police commander and one of the aldermen there, Fifth Ward alderman, on ABC7. Somebody narked on the mayor because, he's passing around flyers saying, fireworks are illegal, don't shoot them off. And then he, on social media, put out there, if you're going to shoot fireworks, shoot them away from the city, which I love. I would vote for him. And then so that was yesterday, holier than thou, how dare you shoot off fireworks? How dare you say that if you do it this way? And then this comes out overnight. Fox 32, I love this. Fox 32 is the opposite. They're featuring people that are buying fireworks from, of course, Chicagoland, buying them in Indiana. And then they, at the end of the story, they say, they should tell you the name of the place, what the hours are, if they're open until today, which I don't care. I think it's so. Which one is it? Do you want to go after people and stop them from shooting them off, or what? And then you had this clown call in. This guy that called in and says, and I don't doubt him and his expertise. And yes, you got to be safe. He's right about that. But he's like, how dare you? A sparkler can hurt people. And he's like, I shoot off the fireworks at Sox Park. I shoot off the fireworks at, all these big events, which, again, I don't doubt him. But it's like, he's literally saying, he's like, do you have young kids? Do you have young kids? I can play the audio again, but I want to take your calls. It doesn't matter if I have young kids. I did. They're older now. And guess what we did? We shot off fireworks. Guess what my parents did with me? We shot off fireworks. And bottle rockets and black cats. My dad loves the black cats. You get like a package of. Doesn't matter if you're in the best neighborhood in Chicago. Doesn't matter if you're in the best neighborhood in Skokie. Doesn't matter if you're in the worst neighborhood in wherever, south side, west side. Doesn't matter. People do this, and it's okay. Just be safe. It just is what it is, man. So what do you think? Should we narc on people, and should we go after people? Should they not be doing these, or should we just have fun and not listen to these turds in the punch bowl? Philip used to work at ATF. I cannot wait to hear from you, sir. You are on AM 560. The Answer. Chris Kroc filling in on the Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello. Wait. Did I hit the right button here? Try this one. There you go. Sorry, Philip. That was my bad. I pushed the wrong button. Go ahead. Oh, he's not talking. All right, Phil. We don't have you there, so I guess I don't know if I can put him back on. Oh, there you are. Wait.
Do you hear me now?
Yes. Try it again. You there?
Here. I'm here.
There you go. Go. I got you. We got you. Go.
Yeah, I used to work for the Milwaukee area office, and we used to do all of the compliance inspections for all of the commercial fireworks dealers in Wisconsin. So what there is there's two kind of fireworks. There's the consumer fireworks, which ATF does not regulate other than the manufacturer of them, and there's the commercial regulated fireworks, and that's what the guy's talking about in Sox Park. and you need a federal permit to purchase or store those things.
So
I mean,
what do you think about him telling me?
Hat.
What do you think about him telling me I shouldn't have fireworks like the kind we're talking about that I can go buy at the place in Indiana or Wisconsin? I mean, isn't this stupid? What's the big deal?
Yeah, see, those are consumer fireworks, and those are the amount of powder that can be in those is limited. And that's why you're able to see them on roadside stands and whatever and buy them that way. They're safer. And you know what? You don't need a federal permit for any of that kind of stuff.
So you agree with me that we should just... Do you agree with me that we should just let this go and these people are dork bags and go get some fireworks and have fun as long as you're safe?
Yeah, I don't think they should be criminalized at all because
Amen.
Everybody, it will be a scofflaw. You have disrespect for the law, you know, if you put too many regulations like that in place.
Amen. Thank you for your service. I have the official approval of a former ATF. Say former really quietly and fast. I have the official approval of the formal ATF. All right, here we go. Fran, you are on AM 560. The Answer. Hi, Fran.
Hey, Chris. How are you? Hey,
good. How are you?
I don't think, I would appreciate if you say you want to vote for our mayor because I don't think he is agreeing with you in terms of economics and a lot of other issues. The man's a socialist, just FYI. But we've had an extremely dry summer. I look out my window. The island in the middle of my boulevard is brown. And people have to be careful. If sparklers, small things that you can control carefully, watch your kids, have some sand, some water handy. But it's been an extremely dry. Anything over like sparklers and the smaller things could be a real problem out here and in a lot of other places in Illinois.
Let me ask you a question. If it's dry by you, it's going to be dry in Indiana. It's going to be dry, northwest Indiana and in southeastern Wisconsin. Kenosha by the Brat stop over by there and stuff. It's going to be just as bad over there, I would assume. You're only from Aurora to Kenosha is probably hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know. So I mean, basically
an hour.
Yeah. From Aurora to Kenosha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I drive it all the time. Okay.
Oh, well, okay. I'll default to you. When I was in Lindenhurst, I'd say it was probably 30 minutes from there, right? In the far north there. But anyways, okay. So, but it's funny because you don't agree with this guy that called in earlier. Oh, I'm an expert. I blow off the fireworks, socks, pork. Not even sparklers, Chris. Do you have young kids? So you don't agree with that?
Not sparklers, but the larger ordinance out here. Once it gets dark, it sounds like, and I don't know for
a war zone, right?
Yeah, it's a war zone out
here. But I got to tell you, Fran,
for hours.
But Fran, it's that way in my parents' neighborhood, a very nice neighborhood in Chicago. It's that way where I grew up in Buffalo Grove and Lindenhurst, and in Naperville, right where my parents lived after that, before going back to the city. So it's like this everywhere. And so, by the way, if you're going to say that we should have some of them, then that means all of them because they're all not commercial grade. Dave in Arlington Heights. How are you, Dave?
Doing pretty good, Chris. I myself enjoy the fireworks. I grew up popping them all over Texas, and I'm not against people having the fireworks and using them. The issue is, it's a law written in the books. And we're losing our minds, pulling our hair out over the fact that we have people ignoring the law in Chicago, calling it sanctuary this and whatever. You can't make an argument about how the other side ignores the laws as it suits them because they think they're silly and stupid or immoral. And then here we are ridiculing a law that we think is silly and stupid. And you can make arguments for how silly and stupid it is. And as the previous caller stated, she has concerns about stuff catching fire. And when it is dry, having seen that happen with those shells that go up in the air, legitimate concerns. And then we also have veterans that loud noises, I grew up next to one as a kid, used to startle him to no end. And at first I thought it was silly because I didn't know what PTSD was. Going back to the thing.
I don't doubt what you're saying about PTSD. I don't doubt what you're saying. Sir, relax. I don't doubt what you're saying about the PTSD thing, but I'm going to just totally... I would be horribly respectful if I lived by a veteran who had PTSD and asked me. But the idea that in a metropolitan area of 8-9 million people, that we don't want to rattle our precious veterans because there's a couple hundred of them scattered about or a couple thousand of them, it's just not going to happen. So you want to ban them all? Yes or no? Yes or no? You want to ban them all? Yes or no? You want to ban them all?
I don't want. What I'm saying is, as long as the law is on the books, we respect the law. If we don't like it, let's change it.
Okay, but I understand that. Totally, but there's like 80 or 90 people. But 80 or 90% of the people don't respect it.
Yeah. Well, then if you have, this is where we start having that whole broken glass or the broken windows theory kick in.
This isn't broken windows.
This law, and then it becomes easier to ignore the other ones.
But listen, you got to be, Dave. You got to be honest. This isn't broken windows. 80 or 90% of the people are already doing this. Every window, Dave. Every window has been broken. There are no broken windows left.
Change the law.
Okay, I appreciate your call. I appreciate your call. I got to roll, bro. Time is limited. I want to pop on more people. I do appreciate you got your point out, and thank you very much. Here's the deal. It's not the broken window, dude. The broken window theory is, when, let's just make up a number, 10% of the windows are broken, and that's allowed, then 20%, and then all of a sudden it invites more crime. 90% of the people shoot off fireworks, I would guess, in Chicagoland. That is not broken windows. You would have to search far and wide to find. You will not find a block in anywhere in the Chicagoland area. There's not fireworks going off. What are you going to do? Maybe you want to do like a surge, Trump surging ICE. Let's surge and have, for example, Lake County. Let's get 100,000 officers deputized and nail every single block. Get them all! Ah! It's just not going to happen, dude. All right, now. Lines, they're not wide open. We got some lines open. Chime in right now, 312-642-5600. I want to hear from you. We got one more segment together. Let's make it work. Let's make it last. Make it great. Making a segment great again. On AM 560,
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
For centuries, gold and silver have protected wealth through war, recession, inflation, and economic upheaval. And today, as markets remain volatile and uncertainty grows, gold and silver continue to serve as an essential building block for modern retirement portfolios, offering both stability and long-term potential. At Advantage Gold, we specialize in helping you move your IRA or eligible 401k into physical gold or silver, tax-free and penalty-free. When you call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000, you'll receive expert insights, real-time market analysis, and modern investment strategies. Everything you need to make informed decisions about your financial future. And right now, for a limited time, you could receive up to $10,000 in precious metals when you open your qualified gold IRA with Advantage Gold. So don't wait for the next market downturn. Take control of your retirement strategy today with the proven power of physical gold and silver. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial and tax professionals before making investment decisions. Visit AdvantageGold.com or call 800-900-8000.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
Hey, heard you're getting ready to move.
We just listed our house on the market.
Just make sure you have the right attorney.
Doesn't the real estate agent take care of all that?
They stay involved, but you want to make sure you have a great lawyer that's negotiating the terms, helping resolve inspection items, clearing up title issues, preparing the deed and other documents, and attending the closing.
The attorneys at Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village have decades of experience handling real estate transactions every day all over Chicagoland. NALawGroup.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Fireworks, ban them, go after everybody, or just get over it and relax. Let's go to Tim on AM 560. The Answer. Chris Crock filling in. Dan will be back on Monday. Hey, Tim. You're in Zion.
Hey. Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Chris? Love
Good,
the
sir.
show.
Thank you.
When I was a kid, we used to be able to shoot off Estes rockets. I mean, they probably still do it today.
Yeah.
And those probably were just as dangerous as fireworks.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that, you know, the question today would be, are these kids being supervised? And I believe that a lot of the people shooting these off, you know, are older adults. You know,
yes.
like 18 to 25 or
yes.
25 to 30. And it's not just the 4th of July. You hear them going off for Cinco de Mayo. You hear them going off for a lot of these
New Year's Eve.
Yeah. So,
or actually, more.
I have to agree with you know?
More. Thank you. I love it, and thank you. More. I would have to say, not on New Year's Eve. That's gunshots. In Chicago, that's gunshots. We all know that. That's the real fireworks. Will in Skokie. Hey, not too bad.
Good morning.
When I go to my parents, we're not too far from you, my friend. How are you?
Good. I find it interesting that Indiana allows the sale of fireworks, but they don't allow the use of fireworks.
They do. I didn't know that.
In Indiana, you can buy them, but you can't shoot them off.
It's like, hey, you can buy weed, but you can't smoke it.
Right. Hypocritical laws. Anyway, have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Great call, my friend. Thank you very much. And now, Greg, there's no pressure, but you're the final caller. So you better be good, sir, or I'm going to be so terribly disappointed. Greg LaGrange, you're on AM 560, The Answer.
How you doing? When we were kids, we were armed to the teeth with bottle rockets, with reports, belts of firecrackers, and
yes,
we shot them off. And you know what? Back then, it was a little bit different. We had to clean up our messes. And the thing is, the cops were around more or less because they didn't have to deal with the capital crimes that are happening in Chicago and all the major cities now and everywhere in the suburbs. They were out looking for kids like us so they could jack the fireworks so they can blow them off for themselves. As I've gotten older, you know, it's more of a hassle. You know, I worry a little bit more. But
we got about 10 seconds. What do you want to do? We got 10 seconds. Go.
No, you let kids be kids. Do it responsibly. Make sure you clean up and you pay.
You the man. And with that, I have 10 seconds with you. I have had a wonderful time with you, and I will be filling in for more days later on this month for Dan. It's Chris Crock on AM 560, The Answer.
He's still going. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Just one big, ugly bill.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has spent 5 straight hours on the House floor ranting against President Trump's one big, beautiful budget bill, delaying the final vote this morning.
More than 17 million Americans at risk of losing health care coverage.
Now, the bill adds work requirements to Medicaid amid spending cuts Republicans say are necessary. It also will make the soon-to-expire 2017 tax cuts permanent with exemptions for tip and overtime income. Congressman Steve Scalise.
America's ready for a rebirth, and we're going to deliver it. President Trump is at the helm now. It's a new day.
Now, President Trump keeps trying to stop the war in Ukraine, just posting on Truth Social he plans to talk this hour with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. There are reports the president also plans a call with Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky. We got a better-than-expected report on the economy this morning. Instead of less hiring last month, there was a slightly big increase than in May. 147,000 jobs created, much bigger than the expectation of 110,000. The June unemployment rate dropped to 10th, also unexpectedly, to 4.1%.
That means the president is once again proving that the haters and the doomsayers don't know what they're talking about.
White House Council of Economic Advisors Chairman Stephen Myron just told Fox.
That means the president is once again proving that the haters and the doomsayers don't know what they're talking about.
Now, on Wall Street, the Dow's been up more than 100 points as the NASDAQ hits a new record high. The Supreme Court, which just finished its last term, plans to take up another big transgender case in the next term starting in the fall. A challenge to state restrictions on biological men competing in women's sports. Last term, the justices upheld bans on gender-affirming care for transgender youth. While in Chicago, police still searching for gunmen or maybe more after a late-night shooting outside a nightclub left 4 people dead, 14 wounded. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be partly sunny and hot with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas later this afternoon. Thunderstorms may bring strong wind gusts in certain spots. The high will reach 91. Tonight, expect a thunderstorm in spots early in the evening. Otherwise, it will be mainly clear and warm with a low of 73. Tomorrow will be sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Independence. It's something worth fighting for. The Founding Fathers thought so as well.